Hello, everyone. Okay, today we've got some creationist goodies to go explore. We may have some guests drop by throughout the course of the evening. Who the hell knows? I invited some people to come have fun with me. They may come. They may, who knows? Who knows? But for the moment, it's just little old me. And yeah, I found a series of videos. This pastor from Connecticut who tours the universe or something, and he did a series on this creationist museum. Carl Baugh, I think, is the resident creation-y person, semi-scientist, what have you. And so, yeah, I thought it might be fun to see what's in his museum and see if it stands up. So, oh yeah, here we go. Now, as always, I've forwarded this video to get through the intro and the title card and all that crap. There's ads in all of these. Hello, Jackson. Good to see you.
Hey, how are you?
Oh, it's all right. Yeah, there's ads in these. I think I've got the timestamps marked for where they end, so we should be able to skip past them. And yeah, so let's see what's in the. Well, I guess it's a little bigger than a closet. It looks kind of like a warehouse. What's it say? Creation Evidence Museum. Ooh, this should be fun.
Yeah, I've seen this before. The sound's not working for me.
What's that?
The sound isn't on.
The sound is doing what now?
Sound's not on. I can't hear it.
Well,
I don't know if
that's
anyone else
weird.
can.
It should be sharing through because it's going through the media player. Let me try running the audio through. Shoot. I know. I'll just run it through my OBS. That should hopefully do the trick. Let's see what happens. Let's see, where do we start? 128-ish. I guess 122 is close enough. All right, take two.
That's probably why you're here too. The Plexi River changed the course of my life. These are velociraptors, models of velociraptors, and
now are those actually velociraptors?
I know they look a little big.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking because I remember Doktor Deino saying that there's several different raptors, and the velociraptors are actually more like, turkey size.
Yeah.
Okay. So, already a little bit sus here.
It's that claw that gives them the reputation of having sickles that would just cut your gut out,
Right. Well, that's what we've seen in the movies.
Well, yes, but in reality, that's not the case. In the fossil record, we have canes that grew that today, like the Lycopsid club moss, is 18 inches. But in the fossil record, 120 feet tall.
120 feet tall. I wonder if that's legit.
It's roughly true. They're carboniferous.
Okay.
So, which they can't explain why they're there.
Oh no, let's see where he's going with this.
To harvest those would require a sickle built in. And if you didn't harvest them, they take over the entire landscape.
So there was a creature that God created that had that sickle built in,
Yes.
and that would also help keep the canes in check.
What?
Am I echoing?
No, you sound fine. You sound fine to me. Oh, it's probably my OBS because I'm hearing your sound, and then it's okay. I got to find another solution for how to play this video then. Well, first I'll turn off the echo, so that much will be taken care of. Yeah, that didn't occur to me because if I play the sounds from my desktop through the system, it'll play all the sounds from my desktop. I wonder if there's a way to put in. We're doing tech support on the fly here. An audio capture specifically for the media player. Let's see, audio input.
Technology. I don't hear an echo now.
Yeah, I turned off the desktop audio, so you at least should be good.
Okay.
No, it only wants to do microphones. I wonder if I put it in. No, then I'd have to reset the output on the video thing. Okay, let me try a different plan here. Let's see if I can get StreamYard itself to open up the video. My computer wouldn't open it in Chrome, which is what I usually do. I open it in Chrome and then play from a Chrome window. But it didn't want to do that today because it's the wrong kind of video. But maybe nope, StreamYard doesn't like it. Well, let me see what kind of file it actually is, and maybe I can do a converter thing. Oh, it's a Matroska video file. Okay, maybe I can turn it into an MP4. Sometimes this works. Sometimes it strips out the audio. But we'll see what happens.
Let's see.
Yeah.
Was that guy saying that Velociraptor used sickle claws to cut down trees, or was I mishearing that?
Yeah, I think that's what he was going with. It was pretty weird. I'm like, okay, so it has a claw, cool, and then you've got these big old mosses, club mosses, and if they're not cut down, they'll take over the earth. But if they're, what did he say, 120 feet tall or something like that? That tells me they're not being cut down. So, like, to get that high, they have to live for quite a while, one would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't understand what his thinking is there. Hello, Doc.
Hello.
What's up, Doc?
You guys have moved on. I haven't been watching the stream for about a minute now, but what in the seven hells of Hoven's backside did he just say about Velociraptor?
He seems to think that because they have a claw, they are the designated harvesters of club moss.
Yeah, that's what I was getting from it.
Like, I don't see the connection. I don't understand where he's getting that from.
Yeah, but it sounded too crazy to be what he was saying, but I think that's what he was saying.
I'm sorry. That's so stupid. I think my brain imploded.
Yeah.
Also, those models are horrific. They don't even look like Velociraptor, even discounting the lack of feathers. Like, yeah, those are awful.
They're 1993 Jurassic Park Velociraptors.
Modeled after the best CGI money could buy.
Jurassic Park Raptors have an excuse.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, it's because the Jurassic Park Raptors are based on me, Deinonychus, which has a different head shape.
I see. So do you have a foot claw that you use for harvesting club moss? For some reason.
Not club moss, but it is 6 inches long.
Like, what would they even do with the club moss? What does a carnivorous giant chicken do with harvested club moss? Like, how?
This is before the fall, I'm assuming, so they're eating the club moss.
Not only that, but like, we call it a sickle claw. It really only looks like that in silhouette. Like, these things are made for stabbing, not slicing. There is no cutting edge. It's like trying to cut a watermelon in half with a pickaxe.
Oh, Elle's got it. Basket weaving. Oh, and they don't harvest them till they get to 121 feet tall. Very precise measurements.
Oh, that was awful.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, we are off to a
Maybe
great
play that
start.
again. I need to hear that a second time.
Okay.
It's fine. You don't have
Just
to play
please
it again.
torture us, Ember.
Well, now it sounds like Beamsy's with us. Okay, I think this is where we go, and hopefully it'll play.
It gives them the reputation of having sickles that would just cut your gut out, you know.
Right. Well, that's what we've seen in the movies.
Well, yes, but in reality, that's not the case. In the fossil record, we have canes that grew that today,
sorry,
like the
Like,
Lycopsid.
set your DVR. What decade are we in again? Who still has a DVR?
I mean, there's the people who watch this kind of thing. I imagine they're their dinosaurs are in 1993. Their TV watching technology is in 1993. Why not? My goodness.
Club moss is 18 inches, but in the fossil record, 120 feet tall. To harvest those would require a sickle built in. And if you didn't harvest them,
That is what he said. How big a sickle would you need if the club moss is 120 feet tall? How big around is it? Is a 6-inch toe claw gonna? No, I don't.
I mean, considering dynamite is like the most efficient way to chop down a redwood tree, that.
Yeah, like copsids are not like club moss. Like he's saying, they are. I mean, they're in the same family, but they're like trees. They have like bark. They're like really.
Think of it like a horsetail, but the size of a redwood tree.
Right.
Oh
But,
my
like,
goodness.
Even if you wanted to say this moronic crap, like, there's so many better raptors you could use. Like,
This,
oh,
yeah,
this is pain on so many levels.
I have a feeling it's gonna be good.
See, this is what you get when you threaten me, Doc.
Fair point.
they take over the entire landscape.
So there was a creature that God created that had that sickle built in,
Yes.
and that would also help keep the canes in check.
It's the balance in nature.
Wow.
Modern evolutionary thought or chaotic evolutionary thought or naturalism likes to think of everything chaotically somehow coming together to blend into what we have. So the dinosaurs represent, to the natural mind, a chaotic, distant, cruel past. Not so. They're
I have to take issue with that. The age of the dinosaurs was no more significantly cruel than any other part of nature. Like, carnivores got to hunt to eat, but the herbivores got to hunt the plants to eat, and the plants kill each other to get to sunlight. Like, everybody's killing everybody else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put feathers on his models there. Constructive vandalism.
Yes.
Can we just... Also, sorry, this is a Carl Baugh, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. I need to double check something.
Yeah, he's a quack.
Is he the guy who... Okay, he is the guy who still thinks that there are human footprints in Paluxy River. Okay, yeah,
No,
I
he knows
know
they're
this
not.
guy.
He knows
Yep,
they're not
yep.
real.
Yeah, he's a footprint enthusiast, and according to him, he once toured the world looking for Noah's Ark. Eventually
Oh.
found it, didn't find it. He doesn't really say, but he came back here to set up his museum, and he does have some footprints to show us a little later on.
Oh, no.
found in Scripture. They balance the creation, and they harvest the vegetation to keep it from consuming the earth.
And that was the perfect creation. That's how God created it. And then
Yes.
sin entered the world, and there was violence, and there was
Yes, the perfect creation by having club moss grow way too big, such that it needed to be harvested.
By
God
velociraptor.
created a problem. And then he just randomly picked the velociraptor to harvest it and basket weave or something. Like, what? It looks like a fossil.
blood
yes.
and all of that. But the way
Wow. I thought they were talking over each other for a moment there.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Who said that breathy or that breathy? Yes, yes. Or
Yeah,
did I
that's
just
what I was.
mishear something? That was weird.
I don't know. Maybe we both misheard. Maybe it was a collective delusion or something. Let's try that section again.
Consuming the earth.
And that was the perfect creation. That's how God created it. And then
Yes.
sin entered the world. And there was violence and there was blood
yes.
and all of that. But the way
He's getting into it.
That sounds like that sound belongs in a different room, Carl.
Yeah, he's very passionate about this subject, you know. Oh my goodness.
the way that God designed all of this was in perfect harmony
Absolutely.
until we came along.
And we're the ones
Yeah.
who destroyed it.
Yeah.
We have more
Yes,
to
we're the ones who fucked it all up. Never mind that he made club moss grow 120 feet tall and then had to create a special carnivore to harvest it to make baskets. No, it was totally our fault.
Is he saying there's a problem that it was growing too tall, so the velociraptors had to harvest it to keep it in check?
If you don't
Apparently?
harvest it, it will take over the world.
Yeah, that's what
Apparently.
I think he's saying.
Yeah, that's the perfect way God created it. Which is why God needed to create a solution.
Yeah, you heard it right, Jackson. It just makes
Yeah.
no sense.
No, I'm not following this at all.
show you here.
Araucaria Now, we have a piece of this in our lobby,
Yes.
but ours isn't anything that big, which I'm happy because I don't know how we could have gotten it in. How did you get this here?
This required an entire over-the-road flatbed to load and bring from our site in Colorado.
Right.
And as you know, Araucaria pine grows round,
Uh-huh.
but this is compressed.
So this is almost, it's oval, but not even oval. It's more almost a square. How it's so
Somebody squished that tree.
Also, this music is weirdly ill-fitting. Like,
Yeah, it doesn't fit very well.
Yeah, this is like the kind of music when you like see the Grand Canyon for the first time or something, you know?
Yeah.
I don't
like
know.
the climax of a adventure movie.
Indiana
Which I
Jones
guess
is about
same
to ride
difference.
off into the sunset. So, do either of you two know about these trees? Is this as he describes that they're?
I don't know anything about this tree, but knowing this guy, it's probably not true.
Yeah,
What
that's
did he
kind of my
call it?
thing too.
Araucaria pine.
Yeah. I mean, the way he opened the video, I'm just automatically suspect of
Oh.
everything he says.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's just a pine tree. It's an order of trees apparently.
Hmm.
They're just basic pine trees now. Or yeah, basic pine trees. Though apparently some could have reached 200 feet in height or 60 meters.
Well, why weren't the
Oh.
velociraptors cutting them down?
Right? They're doing a bad job as gardeners.
Ooh, wow. Okay, a modern one has a stem diameter of 148 feet.
Ooh, that's pretty fancy.
Or, oh wait, no, that's the height. It's 16.11 feet wide, but
Okay.
148 feet tall. It's pretty big.
They get
Yeah.
that big because the velociraptors aren't around anymore.
But he is right that
So-
they grow circular, but that's how trees grow usually. So
Usually, yeah. But I mean, I've seen some weird trees, so I'm like, maybe it's a pancake tree. Maybe it's from when the Earth was flat. Everything on Earth was flat. The pine tree was a pancake like the Earth was a pancake. Before the Numenorians tried to sail west, and Iluvatar had to make the Earth into a sphere instead.
I was lost until you said that. You're talking Lord of the Rings. Got it.
I mean, if we're gonna go with a preferred mythology, why not?
Yes.
So smashed down. So how could that happen?
Well, while it was still pliable, because in this we have found 3 states of matter. We had NASA biologists with us when we found these.
Wait, what? NASA
Three-
biologists?
Yeah, like a NASA biologist, you say?
Well, they're astrobiologists, but what?
Sorry, tree state of matter?
3 states of matter?
Maybe it is tree states of matter.
I
Okay.
heard tree. But no, these
I-
can just be compressed in rock. Like it happens all the time.
It looks like a solid to me.
It does. I could see there being liquid in it, and possibly like when a part breaks open, maybe some gas pockets got released or something. I don't know.
I don't know.
We've found, of course, the total fossilized lithified material. We've found coalified material, and we've found fibrous material. So it's recent.
And we
Wait, that's not 3
So-
states of matter, though.
Solid, solid, and solid.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, like, sorry, lithified means it's recent? What?
And coalified, for that matter.
Like,
And Noah's flood, of
lithified
course.
just means it is a rock. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah. I don't. But I guess the fibrous material, that trumps everything else, whatever the hell that's supposed to mean in this case.
I mean, fibrous is just a texture. It's not. There are fibrous natural minerals. Like, what?
Yeah.
remember when we were there, we were uncovering a piece
I may have to call this phone number for a prayer to keep an aneurysm from killing me in the middle of the stream.
of this, and as I turned it over, I could smell resin
Yes.
on something
Yes.
that an evolutionist would tell you is how old,
Well, that's supposed to be 140 million years old.
and how could there be fibers left? How could there be a resin left?
It,
Nobody tell him that amber exists.
I mean, also, sorry, you smell resin? I wasn't aware that resin had a smell, unless you're just talking about fresh sap. In which case, I highly doubt it.
I wonder, considering they unearthed it in an area of Colorado that, from the looks of it, has that semi scrubland climate. I wonder if they disturbed some juniper or something in order to get to it.
Colorado, right? Yeah, I've been out there. Definitely possible.
Yeah, they're
That's
not-
actually
they're not
probably the
smelling
most
that rock.
likely explanation. Sorry, you were
It's
saying
impossible.
something, Jackson?
Oh, I just said he's not smelling the rock, and if he is, he's lying about it, I'm sure.
And maybe it
Mhm.
was the Holy Ghost put the smell in his nostrils or something. I don't know.
And you have the fossilized rock all in one specimen.
in one specimen. And this specimen is polystrate. That is, part of the limbs
Tell me you're a creationist without saying you're a creationist. Now, he does admit to being a creationist, but they're the only ones who say polystrata. It's their word, and they also still mispronounce it. Why? Just why?
extend to a lower layer, part of the limbs extend to a higher layer. And while it was still pliable, over 20 layers formed over the top of it.
And hence the pressure.
The pressure and the compression
Making
and
it an
the generation of cold. It takes heat and pressure to generate cold.
Which is pretty good evidence for a long period of time, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, and these polystrata trees, they're never going through multiple strata. It's always pretty much one event. It's not. They seem to think that
Yep.
all strata form slowly, and everyone thinks they can't form fast like certain areas, but that's not what anyone thinks.
Yeah, the only times we ever see something like that is when they're near a like a floodplain kind of situation,
Right.
which is often why they're near coal beds, and you find coalified material as part of your fossil and things like that.
I mean, like, give me a polystrate fossil that goes between like actual different rock units, and I'll give you some attention. Until then, keep blowing smoke up your ass.
Yeah.
Smoking the pine.
And these layers extend, this is the Morrison Formation. They extend through 11 states and into Canada.
And so if you're driving out west, if you see a red layer
The red beds.
of the red beds, that's the Morrison.
Yeah, that's the Morrison. That's a part of this
No!
layer.
No, that is blatantly untrue. There are many.
Tell me, he's wrong? I'm shocked.
Like, okay, you can get red beds in any number of situations. Like, the biggest thing usually is it just needs to have iron. And like you can get that in like rainforest deposits and some floodplain deposits. Like it just happens. It's everywhere. Like
Yeah, there are a lot
big
of
simplification.
Yeah, I remember the one thing I learned from Mud Fossil is that red bed is part of the dinosaur layers. I think the Triassic, there's the red bed and then the other two or
There's a
something
Permian
like that.
red bed in Texas.
I've worked in multiple of them in different eras.
So in other words, all of that formed while this was still pliable. The only answer to that is a global flood.
Oh, it could only be the thing that I already started my thinking with as the conclusion. Yes, that's totally how that works.
Of course.
The
For anyone
fossil
who's
blood of all the
actually-
dead bodies. Yes.
Right. For anyone who's actually curious, like if you heat up a rock, it gets softer. If you put it under pressure, it'll squeeze. Like if you put a tube of toothpaste in the freezer and then pull it out and try to move it, it's probably going to crack. But if you leave it on the counter for a couple hours, so it's warmed up, and then you try and squish it, it'll squish. Rocks are the same way. They're frozen up here on Earth.
Yeah. Which is why I contend that ice is, a mineral. But that's a whole other topic.
You and Beamsy can have that debate.
Yes.
On Titan, it's a mineral.
I just had to tweak Beamsy a little. But I mean, the fact the tree is squished is evidence that it was under pressure because it's squished. Like that's how that works. I don't know. And it's irrefutable creation evidence,
While there's plenty to see outside the museum, I can't wait to get inside. Dr. Baugh has discovered over 20 dinosaurs, including these fantastic bones from an Apatosaurus. These fossils showcase God's creative genius. Now, this is fantastic.
Well, this is an assemblage of the
Museum,
entire...
if you had a permit.
know.
Your land management can go medieval on your ass if you don't have a permit.
I mean, maybe they say museum, but they're actually a church or something.
So, like, thing is, if you want to get approved, you have to let them inspect your the words. Wow, where you keep the rocks and fossils. You have to let them inspect it so they can approve it.
It would make sense, but I mean, you never know with these type of folks.
leg, it's a replication of this big Apatosaurus. You have the mate to this bone. You have the mate to that bone. That's the big femur.
So this is the other back leg of the Apatosaurus.
Correct. That ball fit into the hip socket. So you've got almost 6 feet above that for the hips. So you have his head sticking out the front of the building and his tail rubbing the banner back there. because he was about 110 feet long at most. Now, some of them, and that's
that is
maximum.
pushing it. Like, I think upper estimates for a Apatosaurus are like 70 or 80 feet. That is,
Yeah.
that's Supersaurus levels.
Oh, Brie reminds me to mention, shout out that Dr. Tapiocaweasel and Grayson are going to be taking on some flurfs possibly tomorrow. Apparently there's some confusion over at MDD, but such is life. But so far, it's slated for tomorrow. So, yeah, we can all go check that out tomorrow when that happens. It should be fun. I believe it'll be on MDD, but again, things are up in the air. Yeah. According to Grayson, Ryan hasn't actually confirmed. The last communication said it would be tomorrow. They haven't set up a thumbnail. He hasn't heard back from Ryan. But the last anybody heard, it should be tomorrow. So we'll see how it goes. But if it does go off, it should be fun to watch. That'll be your first debate on MDD. Yes, Dr. T? Dr. T is ready to rumble. Yeah, that'll be neat. Okay, you were saying about giant apatosauruses, Doc?
I was just saying it's 110 feet long is really pushing it. So Apatosaurus is a part of a family of sauropods called Diplodocids, which are really long and slender generally. Apatosaurus is weirdly squat for the group. Actually very heavily built animal. So like 70 feet long is about as big an estimate you can get.
Okay.
So he's wrong about something. Big surprise.
Yeah. Has he been right about anything yet?
I don't think so.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
Now, here's the question though: is he artificially inflating the number to make it seem like his dino is bigger, or is he just straight out making shit up because he has no idea what he's talking about?
He probably just doesn't know.
Yeah, why not both?
Like the American Museum of Natural History has a great photo, or has a great specimen of Apatosaurus. See if I can find a good picture. Like the entire animal is spectacular.
Yeah, for a while they were my favorite dino after Brontosaurus stopped being a thing. Of course, Brontosaurus is back now, but details.
Yeah. If you want to show it, there's the skeleton.
Oh, private chat. Why is the window in a different place when I'm running the room as opposed to when anybody else is running a room? That's so weird. Premiere doesn't make any damn sense to me. Okay,
I don't know.
here's our skelly bro.
Yep, this is Apatosaurus louisii, I think. Yeah, this is a pretty big specimen too. And that guy behind it is basically right behind the skeleton, so he gives a pretty good sense of scale.
Ooh. That's helpful because these dangling lights could be any fucking size. They are no help at all.
Yeah, I think this one is about 60 feet long, 60 to 65. And they did get big, don't get me wrong. Just not as big as he's saying.
Yeah. It's bigger than, but in the same general category as our present day giraffes. As opposed to the the skyscraper-sized buggers.
Oh, yeah. Like a Titanosaurus. Yeah, 110 feet. Yeah, sure, I believe you. Or other Diplodocids, too. But,
Supersaurus. 42 meters.
That's the estimate. The only problem is Supersaurus is highly fragmentary. So it's basically estimated on a scaled-up Diplodocus. Oh, and Jackson has lost his audio, so he's dropping out.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Well,
We're having all kinds
You
of
did
audio
too.
difficulties today. Well, I mean, if it comes back on, feel free to jump back in. It's all good.
And I mean, I'm gonna guess like a Bree. Feel free to hop on in too if you want.
Yeah. Okay.
You kind
Let
of
us.
sent an open invite, so I assume that's okay.
Yeah. Like I said, anybody in the Science Friends Justice League or whatever is can happen anytime.
Some of them more like 80
Evolutionists,
feet. So
What's that?
Evolutionists, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
We haven't said that name much lately, but I still like it.
It's true.
let's take 80 feet. But that would mean that the tail was 30 feet long. The tail would extend from here to that barrier right over there. You got a problem. We used to think that dinosaurs drug their tails. But the more we have examined trackways, we know that they held their tails in
Because
suspension.
you're not seeing the tail dragging in the mud. That you see the
That's
tracks.
correct.
Okay.
So, first of all, hello, Beamsy. And second, how true is that?
Yeah, it's true. Sauropods and basically all dinosaurs had their tails up off the ground.
Okay. I know
but
you've talked about several that use their tail to counterbalance so they can move effectively, but I didn't know if
Mhm.
some might
mean,
drag their... Who knows? I mean,
to
you
be
know,
fair,
but I don't know.
sauropods use theirs to counterbalance too. Use it to counterbalance that giant neck. And I think he's going to bring up a possible problem here in a second, and I'm curious what his problem is.
Okay. Could be interesting.
So how could they hold their tails erect, then hold their necks and heads erect at the same time? The oldest book in the world, not only the oldest book in the Bible, Job. God was talking to him. Job chapter 40, and he said, I want to tell you about the biggest creature I made, Behemoth. And he said he has...
Yeah, okay.
Behemoth!
I'm guessing he's going to bring up the strengthen in his belly line. And just know, like...
Tail like a cedar. It's going to be the tail of the cedar.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, no, it's pretty easy to understand how sauropods could hold both up. They had really freaking powerful ligaments. Like, think cables on a suspension bridge, which is basically how they were built. Their tail held their head up and their head held their tail up.
Yeah, how many redwood cedars have you seen in the Middle East?
I hear they grow well.
I mean, in fairness, I haven't been to the Middle East. And hello, Bree.
Hi, boys. We just got to Job too. I popped in just in time because I wanted to talk about the sinew of his stones. Because you know one thing that diapsids don't have: external testicles.
External stones.
Right. So you wouldn't see stones hanging down by any kind of sinew.
Yeah, well, this is definitely going to be the aspect of the tail like a cedar. Let's have a look at a Mediterranean cedar and then tell me what that looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, and elephant tails are they're longer than a human body. Like an adult elephant's tail is huge. They just look tiny on an elephant because elephants are ginormous, but their tails are about 8 feet long. So,
oh yeah, the old T-Rex arms problem.
Yeah, I know T-Rex arms. Someone said, "Oh, anybody could win an arm wrestling contest with it." No, T-Rex would. There's not a human alive who could arm wrestle a T-Rex. They're still huge and have a lot more power behind those arms. Yeah.
Yeah, it's ishy.
Shout out to, I don't remember what video it was, but Aaron Ra had a really, really good breakdown of what the behemoth was. And he actually cited a Bible scholar in the discussion who was very much against saying it was a dinosaur.
Was it a bovid? Because me and Jason from Dragons and Genesis did a whole podcast about how we thought it represented a giant bull god. of some kind, like a
So-
primordial bull god, because elephants don't have external testicles either.
Well,
You
so,
know, so
so
you
what Aaron landed on and what I landed on is an elephant. Because yes, elephants don't have external testicles,
That's my problem with
but they
elephant.
do have that weird, like, floppy stretch of skin down there that someone from the time could misconstrue as being their stones.
You talk about like the baggy pants on. Well, that's African elephants, though, isn't it? But Indian
Yeah,
elephants
the
would have
Book
been
of
what's
Job would have
present in
been
the Middle
written
East.
with African elephants, right?
Well, so
Could be either.
Indian elephants or Asian elephants would have been closer. I would think would have been closer to Levant. I actually think that there was elephants in use not that early. Not as early as Job though, because there's but there would have been elephants there. There were the elephants that lived in the Middle East in the Bronze Age were Asian elephants.
Mhm.
I'm almost 100% sure they weren't African elephants. That they were Elephas, not Loxodonta.
Well, I mean, either way, like, even if it was
Hmm.
Asian elephants, like,
Mm-hmm.
there's a certain something that male elephants do have down there that they might just reference that too.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it'd be worth discussing some of it. Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah. In female elephants, they have their mammaries down there too.
Yeah. Yeah, they have.
I think that's
they
good.
look like human boobs made out of elephant skin. They look,
Oh yeah. Oh,
they're shaped.
in the front
They're
legs.
shaped.
I didn't know. I forgot that.
Yeah.
Why, thank you, Bree. First you had my attention, now you've got my erection.
Damn it,
Aye.
Beamsy.
Beamsy. So yeah, I thought, but the comparison to the ox here is apt too. I don't know. It's a mythical beast, whatever it is. I don't think it's a dinosaur, but could there have been a giant femur that they dug up in the ancient Near East, and they're like, oh, must have been, maybe, and maybe it was a dinosaur,
definitely,
or Paleoloxodon or something like that. But and said, oh, this must have been the femur of Behemoth. Only thing that could kill a monster this big would have been, I guess, who was it that originally slayed Behemoth? It was Marduk, right? In the oldest versions of the Behemoth's tale, Marduk was the god who slew Behemoth and
okay.
Yeah, the great serpent from the primordial sea, which is Leviathan. Yeah. Anyway, but Job's so old like that it still has. If you read the context of Job in the like what they see in the Dead Sea Scrolls, even it's clear that they're talking about a pantheon of the god in that at least in that book is part of a pantheon in its original context. It's amazing.
There's still leftovers of that even in the modern day Bible.
Yeah, it's hard. Job is old, like super, super old. So it's hard to mop the Bible clean of that when it's the oldest book of the set. But there's still churches that like if you combine Job with the book of Enoch, there's a lot of things that click into place about the narrative, the overarching narrative that's present in the oldest books of the Old Testament. Like there's a mythology there that's they vanquished in Christianity, but it's still present in these older texts. Now I come in here and ramble about religion. We were talking about dinosaurs.
I know. Well, it was inevitable with a creationist person that stuff would come up.
Yeah.
Is it actually true that Job is the oldest book? I mean, okay, I should correct. Creation-y dude said it was the oldest book in the world. That's clearly not true. But is it the oldest book in the Bible?
According to Josh, it is. According to Josh Bowen, when he came on my show, he said it was the oldest because he came on Monsters. I used to do a podcast called Monsters in the Bible, like when I first started my stream, but
Fun.
haven't done it in years. I used to do it with Jason from Dragons and Genesis. We had like Dr. Josh come on to talk about some of the earlier versions because he's in this, there's seriology is his main area of research, which means he studies, Semitic mythology and Semitic culture outside of just the what's survived in modern Judaism and Christianity, so he gets to gets to enlighten us about some of the roots of these stories and the mythology that ties it all together. It's him and Megan are amazing. Digital Hammurabi, somebody drop a link with someone with a wrench. Now,
I've only met Josh and Megan very, very briefly. I got Eric from Skeptics and Scoundrels got me an invite to one of Jimmy Snow's online game nights, and Josh and Megan were there. But they were already kind of at the end of their wine bottle, if you follow my meaning, so they were only around for like half an hour. But still, it was cool hanging out with them for a little bit.
Yeah. They're both adorable, too. They're so funny when you watch them together and their dynamic.
And they know like such an incredible amount of really obscure stuff.
Right. And while they're a Syriologist, Digital Hammurabi, they have Egyptologists and people who study Greek culture and other ancient Near East cultures and stuff like that. So you get to learn a lot over there. Thank you, Dr. Tap.
Yeah. Okay, shall we continue on and find out what we already know he's going to say about Behemoth?
About the cedar tree? Yeah.
Probably.
I'm betting strength in his belly, but yeah.
Okay.
I'm
There's a
still
tail
on the
like
cedar.
an
Okay, 2 for cedar, 1 strong belly. Gotcha.
I see stones
Tire?
and cedar. Boom.
Oh, look at that. Sinews of stones, tail like a cedar. I mean, it is just one verse altogether, so there's that.
cedar tree. It's large at one end, tapers, and moves like he moveth his tail like a cedar tree. He's the chief of the ways of God. And then God solved a scientific mystery. The sinews of his stones and the bars of iron, bars like iron and brass, the legs and so forth, are wrapped together. The Hebrew word there is entwined.
Who knew entwined was a Hebrew word? What? If I'm confused, because if this was like the early end of a Bronze Age culture, what do they know about iron?
I think there was iron at the time. At least a bit of it.
But like iron working would have been in its infancy, right?
Yeah, but it would have been known as like a strong metal still.
Maybe. Well, okay. Maybe they weren't aware of it as a metal yet. Because once you can work iron, that definitionally moves you into the Iron Age. But you could be aware of iron as like a rock that's too hard to melt and smelt until they, discovered how to make their fires hotter. So maybe they were aware of iron, but only in its ore form? I don't know.
What time would this have been in history?
So,
well, if this
Job's-
is the oldest book, then we're looking at around 3500 BCE.
Yeah, that's about.
well, I mean, there's a big
8,000 years
window
too early
there.
for Iron Age.
It's 7th century, right? So 700 BCE. Seven. That's the oldest that it could possibly be. So it's not even.
Well, the Iron Age, we found indications of iron working from about 1600 BCE.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, there would have been iron working, I guess, in the biblical days, the days of the Old Testament.
Yeah, there's a lot that's very sus around here, but yes, meteoric iron, that would be a little bit easier to work with because you don't have to mine it and it doesn't have as many inclusions because those get burned off during reentry.
Mhm.
So maybe.
So
You also
Google has spoken, and supposedly, first, yes, the first iron would have been extracted from meteorites, but also apparently there's Egyptian ironworking going back to about 3000 BCE, whereas the Book of Job was apparently written in the 7th century BCE.
At the oldest, yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
At least going by Google, so yeah, they definitely would have known about iron.
And they also would have used banded iron, not just meteorites, because of the high concentration of iron within it.
But Biff makes such a great doorstop, Beamsy.
Yeah, I've got some banded iron as well.
Oh yeah, I got a slight tangent. When I was out west for college, I brought back like 40 pounds of banded iron with me. I had to carry it like 3 miles over a mountain back to the van.
Nice.
Do you want to explain where banded iron comes from and why it's so interesting?
From mass oxidation events, right?
Yeah.
And the oldest we have is from when, well, I like to say it's when life took its first breath. The evolution of photosynthesis. It's a dead ringer for it.
That makes sense.
The banded iron is actually the residue of oxygen generating photosynthetic organisms.
They don't exist anymore, right?
Because oxygen kills them.
Yeah. So this stuff, this banded iron, is the residue of that first oxygen apocalypse. That's pretty fucking cool.
But it's not just one apocalypse. Every single band of iron, every line you see, is when the organisms had reached a certain level of concentration of oxygen, and they wipe themselves out.
Yep. And then they just start again, and then die, and start again, and die.
The
solid
closest living relatives to them are the ones that live down at the thermal vents, right?
Yeah.
So cool.
Are modern cyanobacteria not related?
I think they're closer. I think they have closer relatives that are down there that have secondarily lost photosynthesis.
What's the one that's purple, that has the purple photosynthesis? It's not, I think it was sulfur base.
Oh, I can't. Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, they went from purple to green.
I can look it up.
Yeah, sorry, my brain's not 100%.
Google says purple sulfur bacteria.
Yeah, that's your closest living relatives, and you get them around thermal vents and volcanoes.
Yeah.
Let's see. They are of the order Chromatiales. And there's a few different families, apparently.
Super interesting, though.
Yeah, but when they went from purple photosynthesis to green photosynthesis, that's when they started regenerating oxygen, but oxygen kills them. And that's how, and because of the oxygen then combined with iron within the residue, they created rust, and then that rust settled with their bodies, and that's why there are bands of high concentrations of iron and then another sedimentary layer, and they just kept going, repeating themselves.
So was this during the period where all the photosynthetic life was purple instead of green because of the composition of the atmosphere?
It's when it was shifting.
Yeah, I watched a YouTube video about that. That's
a purple planet.
Let's see,
you
my
say?
Biff, I think, is 3.2 billion years old.
Yeah,
somewhere around there.
The banded ions were created at the start of the Great Oxygenation event until they found they stopped killing themselves.
Now,
yeah,
was that when you're talking about you're not talking about the This is way before like the Carboniferous rainforest collapse, though, right?
Way before that.
This is
Again.
billions of years ago.
Okay, yeah, but when I think of the oxygenation or oxidation event, that's what always pops in my head is the
There is the
rainforest
oxidation.
collapse.
There's the oxidation event, which is later on, which is when it was during the Carboniferous era. But the great oxygenation event is when oxygen was first really encountered into the atmosphere and into the system itself. It's when microorganisms shifted from purple to green photosynthesis. So because it provided them more energy, but they also killed themselves, and that's why we end up with bands of iron, a high concentration of iron in those sedimentary rocks.
Yeah, and actually, the story of how my Biff came to the surf. Sorry, Biff is Banded Iron Formation.
I figured that one out, but I was going to ask you at some point.
Yeah, but the story behind it's actually kind of cool. It used to be on the seafloor until what is now the western half of North America smashed into the eastern half of North America and built up a mountain range that is now all but gone. All that's left is the very roots of the mountains. So the layers I got this from are vertical, almost straight up and down, 87 degrees, I think is what we measured on most of them.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
This is old stuff.
Yes. Like I said, 3.2 billion.
That's fucking cool.
That's why I love talking about it. It's just probably one of my favorite of all the sedimentary layers that you can talk about.
We got a super chat from Nara who sends $5. Thank you so much, and says, "Watching your weak attempt at refuting this irrefutable evidence. Nice try though. $5 for the entertainment and checkmate."
But check this out. We have tricked people into thinking, hey, yeah, we're just going to dunk on some bad Bible verses, and now we're teaching them about the purple earth and cyanobacteria that's still purple from that period down to the thermal vents, and we've dropped all these education bombs like some sneaky bastards. Why they thought we were just making fun of religion.
I know. I was thinking I was here, and how the fuck did we get from Job and Behemoth's bones to purple cyanobacteria and shit? I'm like, how did that happen?
We discussed from the iron, then came to the aspect of where the iron would have come from. That was meteorites and banded iron. Then we decided to talk about where banded iron comes from, because personally I find it absolutely fascinating, and it is incredibly interesting.
And oh man, I wish I still had my pictures from that whole exploration, because it was so beautiful.
Yeah, I had a dream once about a purple planet. In the dream, aliens came and offered me a ride, hey, you want to go check out our planet? And so I went, and it was very much like ours. It was a super Earth, but the gravity was actually slightly lower, so the density was down a bit. And they had a vast continent, sort of like our Pangea, but it was just one of many continents because it was, a super Earth. And they had liquid water and a heavy nitrogen atmosphere, much like our own. But I don't know if it was the composition of the sky or the temperature of their sun or whatever, but they had tree analogs, like weeping willow looking things, but the leaves were purple. I'm like, oh, this is neat.
Yeah, if our sun was slightly different, and they would have actually stuck with using sulfur, and we would be sulfur instead of a carbon-based life form.
We'd all smell like farts, is what he's saying.
Yeah, there'd be a lot more methane.
But if it were like the common smell, wouldn't it just be normal?
We'd all smell like rotten eggs.
We wouldn't care though, but yeah, we would.
Now that has me wondering, if an alien came from a methane-rich planet and landed and smelled us, would we smell horrible to it?
It would die.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, it could have a sulfur enclosed suit. But we could still smell it from a mile away, I bet.
We would smell, we would actually be able to tell that something was strange. But if they come in contact with our atmosphere, it would instantly kill him.
So, are you saying demons can't get here because they're sulfur based, and that's why they have to possess us?
Because of the
They-
highly
remote
reactive
control.
because of the highly reactive nature of oxygen, it might destroy everything that they have.
Hmm.
Oh, so the early cyanobacteria made our planet poison, and that's why the aliens all stay away, but we gradually evolved and adapted to it.
That's
I mean, basically.
That's what we were explaining with the banded iron, because the cyanobacteria were killing itself.
Okay.
And our ancestors were bathed in this torment, so it sculpted our species.
Oh, Wayne has an interesting idea. Most alien life is gas-based and not interested in humans. Remember, Old Testament, the gods were also just big old balls of gas. They impersonated clouds and shit. So maybe they were aliens who managed to figure out how to live here long enough to boss some humans around for fun and profit or something.
It's the aspect of what exactly is life, and that's starting to get into the area of your bacteria and your viruses and the line that's drawn between them, and it just gets very messy.
Oh, yeah. Fun stuff. Dr. T just got a new book. Well, a new to him book by Josh Bowen. Speaking of Josh Bowen earlier. So that's neat. Okay, let's see how far we can get before our next major tangent.
With me here, I give it 30 seconds.
Oh, you're optimistic
you're
today.
Very optimistic tonight. Well, today for you, I guess.
Oh, I think
Yeah, I'm not going to go on camera, though, because I look like hell right now.
that's all right. I always do.
Oh, you're cute. Stop it.
Meanwhile, I'm just trying to find where this damn campground was, because it was awesome.
In the Iron Age?
The place where I got my rocks. Like, there's a couple places it could be, but I'm not sure, and I want to know.
Was it like in the Ozarks or something?
No, this was in Wyoming.
Oh, okay, yeah. I get what you. Yeah, I know exactly what you mean about the mountains in Wyoming. I noted myself that like people talk about the mountains in that part of the country, but they mean the Rockies further west because they've never actually been there. But the mountains, if you're cruising along I-80, for example, the mountain peaks and the valleys between them are like 20 meters difference. I'm like, these are
That
pointy
very much
hills.
depends on where you go. We drove through. I actually have it up here. We drove through the Bighorn National Forest to get to where we needed to go, and the mountains up there are huge. Like, you just turn a corner and you just see this massive valley that extends for like 20 miles off in the distance.
Hello, Pat.
It depends on what part of Wyoming you go to.
Yeah. I mean, it's a huge state. There's a lot of various geography. It's just that part along I-80, like, really struck me how the mountains are... It's like, I don't know, the valleys are filled in, the mountains are ground down, perhaps a little of each. It was just weird.
Oh, hey, I just found a place that was utter hell.
A place that was utter hell, you say?
Yeah. Ugh, I think it actually cooked my shoes.
I've done that in a campfire a time or two, but to have the ground do that is pretty impressive. I think Bree is under attack.
Oh, yeah, I just got up and sat back down. I'm back now.
Okay.
But yeah, Beamsy, have you ever heard of porcelainite?
Yes, but I can't picture it in my head. Sorry.
Is it?
It's basically natural porcelain, and when it breaks, it's sharp as shards of glass. It
Ooh.
chopped up my shoes.
Yeah, well, the biffs that I've encountered is that if you want to have a look at that. That's got
Beamsy
chert.
making me open other windows again.
Yeah, that's
Oh dear.
that's mixed with chert.
Oh, that's your biff.
Yeah.
Let's see. I found some a minute ago.
Are you guys going to start comparing biffs?
I think we already are.
Are we having a biff off?
Well, I know Dino's got a bigger biff than me, so yeah. But that's mixed with chert.
I gave most of it away to family and friends, but
It won't let me zoom in. Still, pretty colors.
yeah, that's the chert.
Here you go, Ember. Here's my biff, or what mine mostly looks like.
Doop doop
Ooh.
Ooh.
It looks painted. It's so pretty.
It does.
That's how it naturally looks.
That's really cool. Hello, Dr. T.
I want a Spinosaurus for the sail that color. Hey, Doc.
Hello. How y'all doing? No, you were right, Bree. Yeah. So this is the Old Testament endorse slavery? This is the first edition. I just got the new and upgraded edition. Boom.
Oh, it's a hardback, is it?
Well, there's an option for it, and I was like, he probably makes like an extra, $1 if I buy the hardback. So I'll buy the hardback, and it's awesome, and it's beautiful, and it's still got the nice and there it is, beautiful.
Gorgeous.
There's the back cover with our lovely friend
Bow
Josh
tie.
Bowen with the bow tie.
Love it.
Champion, and how thick this is. So these are the two next to each other.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they were
You're making me feel inadequate.
No, it's well because it's. I read like the preface to it or whatever, and it was like we were like, do we want to just like release this as a second volume, or like, and then they decided that it would be more affordable for people who wanted to get all of the content if they released it as a slightly more expensive second edition, and then you could just buy that. Like this is now obsolete. This is up to date, and it has Dr. Josh's translation, his translation, and he's a professional Assyriologist, of every single law that he is aware of in all of the literature that has to do with slavery from the ancient Near East. In this book, there is a translation of that law. It is a one-stop shop for all of it. It's awesome. So.
I think Beamsy's checking out. Night, Beamsy.
Have a good one, mate.
Yeah, gotta take care of your health.
Yeah.
So, Icarus wishes to know, what is doctorology?
I read that as drawology.
No, it's what I got my PhD in. It's really complicated. I'm sure nobody would want me to go into it. It's basically okay. So doctorology is what happens when you do the philosophical realization of the metaphysical substrate that underlies all articulable truths as understood by applying the prefabulated turbo-encabulator.
It's almost like you've been listening to Witsit.
Yeah.
That was some primo word salad.
Yeah.
Apparently there's a doctorology in Undertale.
That's awesome.
Nice. I never actually played the game, but my kids made so many references, and they're like, "Oh, you have to check out this Jacksepticeye video about it." So I know some, but I don't know like the characters really well and such.
Beautiful. What's this rock on the thing? It's beautiful.
This is Biff.
That isn't that a character from Back to the Future?
That too. Dr.
Banded iron
Josh's
formation.
one stop for slavery in the ancient Near East.
Oh, we gotta clip that and send it to him. That's why you can't trust white men.
Yeah, could be dangerous. Any culture who's given pale-skinned folks an inch has suffered greatly for the consequences.
Indeed.
Ay. Okay, let's see what's past Job, shall we? On that high note.
He could hold his tail erect. And when you go beyond Apatosaurus to Seismosaurus, who was 140 feet long, and then you go to Argentinosaurus, 160 feet long, his tail was 60 feet itself.
This is sounding like a fish story.
Little oversized. Slightly a lot oversized.
Oh, is it a lot? Because those numbers didn't seem a priori like insane to me.
Oh,
But
for
I don't actually know what the
Argentinosaurus,
actual-
it's oversized. Titanosaurs, like Argentinosaurus, were big, but they were thick with like 17 C's.
1.7 times 10 to the first power. When you have so many C's, you could refer to them in scientific notation. Yes.
Apatosaurus was ridiculously thick for how long it was.
It was one of the thickest diplodocids.
Mm-hmm.
Title of my sex tape.
It reached like 75 feet, and it was it's about the same weight as Supersaurus, which reached 138 feet, just to give it some perspective.
Okay, I'm sorry. That's the title of my sex tape.
Oh,
Oh wait, you're probably trying to stay monetized. That's my bad.
What? Why would we do that around here?
Doc knows what's up. Doc's in here like, ah, man, you invited Vandy on the stream. This is just gonna get derailed immediately.
I'm fine. I'm trying to find this damn campground. I can't find this.
It's kind of what we do.
The only way they could be held erect is
Giggity.
that
Giggity.
the sinews, the musculature, everything was entwined together. And here's the evidence. Do you see that protrusion?
Kids,
The
can
fuck
you
is he
say
trying to say?
non sequitur?
So he was making the case earlier that the Hebrew word something meant entangled, and then the sinew is wrapped around and shit, and this is supposed to be evidence of that nonsense?
No, like the sauropod mechanism for having long neck and long tail is simple. They're a living suspension bridge. Elephants have a smaller version of the same thing. They just balance ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, like you can see it on their skulls, or like a mammoth skull. Like you can see where their spine connects with their head, and then there's just this massive patch of spongy bone where this like leg thick tendon connects to the skull to help hold it up.
Oh, that's sort of similar to what humans have, where there's that little bumpy thing just like maybe a centimeter above where the spine meets the skull that shit anchors to?
Yeah, except for like 1,000-pound head. Wow, I actually found a decent picture. Thank you, Bun Clones.
All right, let's see what we got here. Ew.
Yeah, so this is a mammoth skull from behind. So which of those two holes in the back of the skull do you think is for the spinal cord?
I'm gonna go with the bottom one.
Yep, that's for the spinal cord. And then the upper one is just this giant ligament that's pulling its head back so it doesn't fall on its face.
That's a big old anchor point. It kind of reminds me of the old Chinese junks, their anchors, how they were just round stones with a hole through the middle. I wonder if that's where they got the idea. Oh, this one I can zoom in. I see how it is.
Yeah. But yeah, sauropods just had this, except there was no terminus, basically. It like stretched out over the vertebrae.
Okay.
And for anyone who's curious, what counterbalanced the head was just their entire backside.
That's true. They don't have the same kind of counterbalanced tails that the old school dinos had.
Yeah, like sauropods balanced the weight, like the center of it was over the center of their back. For or at least for mammoths, it's balanced over their shoulders.
Yeah, big robust shoulders.
They also
yeah.
didn't. You've never heard of a mammoth named Longneck, right? Like,
No, not
Yeah,
no. Or neck at all. They really don't. Yeah.
it's not really a thing that they've got. So yeah, I mean, the tusks are pretty huge though. Like those are pretty epic.
That's fair, yeah.
Yeah.
Why nobody wanted to fuck with them.
Like, Doc, are you familiar with the speculation about Paleoloxodont surviving into recent times in China?
I have not, but it wouldn't super surprise me if there was a late surviving mammoth.
Yeah.
And,
well, Paleoloxodont, but yeah.
Oh, same difference.
Yeah, look at that head right there. Look at that dome.
Works with elephants. Don't roast me on that. So this is a woolly mammoth skeleton from the side, a model.
Mm-hmm.
And like you can see how long the back vertebrae are, that big extension off the back.
Yeah.
It's hard to get a sense of scale because the whole animal is so big, but those are like a foot and a half long. They're just big extensions of bones that huge tendon can lay across and anchor itself to.
Okay, so they're bonus femurs for anchoring the giant tendon.
I mean, basically. You see the same thing with like a modern bison.
Are those paired terminals? Or are they just a single row terminals?
They're just singular.
Okay.
The hip shape is interesting.
Mammal hips are weird.
I see.
Here's a picture of a modern bison skeleton. They have the same deal. And if you've ever seen a bison in real life, you know why. Those heads are massive.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Also, I'm noticing that these bones bear a great deal of resemblance to the flats that we see on a Spinosaurus.
If you look at them from the front, they're much thicker. They are much more robust and just scale. Spinosaurus.
Thick is the word of the day today, guys.
I guess.
Yes, a lot of thick things today. But, these are for bearing stress. Spinosaurus spines are not for stress.
Yeah,
that
we can see the shoulder blades are no longer along the rear of the rib cage. they've shifted up to take advantage of those giant muscle anchors.
Mhm.
That's pretty neat. These guys are like all front end. The rear is just holding the back end up. That's about all it has going on over there.
I mean, that's how bison move. They wheel around their front legs. When they have to turn fast, they will actually go up on their front legs and just pivot their whole body around.
That makes sense. They're very, very forward heavy critters. My goodness. That's pretty trippy.
Yeah. Who knew we'd be learning so much about biology from Carl Baugh?
I had a hunch we'd be learning a whole bunch of random unrelated shit. It's kind of what we do.
Yes.
On this side, the bone is relatively flat.
Right. So you're finding this and you're wondering, what is that?
That means that the sinews would have to extend like this. If they were wrapped and entwined, they would have to go like this and wrap around. That protrusion guarantees that from the embryo all the way through full development, those sinews, the musculature, wrapped and twisted around, and that bracket of wrapping held
So
the entire torso and the long tail.
so without that protrusion,
I don't want
that
to get into a
this
20-minute tangent, but he's entirely wrong.
I was kind of leaning in that direction. I'm like, because I know he's talking about a dinosaur, so I'm picturing like a turkey drumstick, right? And I know this is the upper thigh, but still, I'm thinking of how all the tendons come down and then wrap around in a part on the drumstick. But I'm like, I'm not seeing it.
Yeah, no. Like the bump he was pointing to is a big attachment site. It's a big muscle attachment site. That's the main like pull back muscle to drag the femur backwards. Just yeah, no, everything is wrong.
Nara's been to Fermilab too? Sheesh, I am missing out. Dr. T playing with your food, huh? Okay.
this animal couldn't keep its tail.
Couldn't keep its tail
erect.
erect.
Wow.
So-
And the Bible has already described it and told us how it all worked, and then you're finding it
And now we're fine.
in real life.
Again, the Bible is
What? No. No. If this was the same creatures in the Bible, and he's doing that whole it looks like a maple leaf thing. But it couldn't be fossilized. That's not, no. It's not long enough to make a fossil. God damn it.
It's demonstrated to be the Word of God.
Oh, time for that commercial break that I mentioned at the beginning. But I noted where it ends, so we can just skip ahead.
I mean, you could do a commercial for your own stuff.
I could be like, hey, memberships come with all kinds of cool benefits. The very least of which is all these cool emojis and things. Members get access to those, and when we get enough members and a new slot unlocks, the members get to vote on what they are. Also, for the next 24 hours, there's a discount code available on my Spring store if you want some physical merch, like shirts and coffee cups and things. The code is end of summer 20, and it'll get you 20% off any item in the store, or so they tell me, because that's a code from the store themselves, from spring.com. I didn't set that up. So yeah, that's good for another 24 hours. Also, we finally have like kind of a sponsor. It's an affiliate sort of deal. What is it? It's hold on, I'll find it here. Dubby Energy. If you're sick of coffee and you want something fruity, but you don't want those stupid energy drinks that make you crash, you can get Dubby energy drinks from the link is in the description. If you use my link, you get 10% off. So hooray!
Wait a second. Was I just in a commercial?
Yes.
I'm really stoned. I wasn't sure.
I wish I had. See, when you join the affiliate program, they'll send you like 4 free packets so you can try the stuff and tell people about how it is. But you have to buy something else to get the free packets. So that's where I'm kind of stuck because I'm very poor right now, and so it's got to wait until I have some extra money to order something. But the link is in the description.
All right, people, can we get like a $20 super chat so Ember can go get high or whatever?
It's an energy drink. It's fine. It'll wait. I've got things in the works. I've got an advertisement running for my photography. I've got job applications in various places. My car is in the shop. It should be done any day now. At some point, I'll start making money again. Someday. Something's got to work, right?
Will show us irrefutable evidence that dinosaurs and humans lived together. These artifacts disintegrate.
Wait, where? Goodness, artifacts. Is he going to talk about the Paluxy footprints? Is that what we're going to do, or
No, just Ember now has to thank Doc the Magic Dino.
Yes. Thank you, Doc, for inspiring people. So people actually listen to Doc, which is I do appreciate it, though. Yep.
Wow.
So we got $20 from Skeptics and Scoundrels. Thank you so much, Eric. Go get high, Ember. And $20 from Dr. T, or whatever. Thank you, Doc.
He said,
I presume the oh yeah, get high or whatever. I thought that might be the case.
So
yeah.
Eric got the get high part. I got the whatever part. You know, poor Kano was this.
Yeah. So I'll order the energy drink things, and then we can try them out. We can see if they're any good, and yeah,
Sure,
yeah,
it'll be
live
fun.
Stream your reaction to them or something.
Yeah, we'll do an unboxing on a counter apologetics channel. We'll do an unboxing for energy drinks. It'll be fun.
I gotta go, but it's been real. Okay, I'll still be in chat. But,
okay.
Okay.
Thanks for stopping in, Dr. T.
Bree, you've got my number. You can always get in contact with me.
Yes, sir.
And
I sure do.
Good luck tomorrow, Tapioca. And,
yeah.
Already made the offer to Grayson, but if I'm off work at a semi-reasonable time tomorrow, I'd be happy to do an after show if you guys want one.
Cool. So if the debate happens, debate, and then probably after show at Doc's, we'll have ourselves a wonderful party tomorrow going on. It'll be neat.
Possible. I could get off work at 3 p.m. or I could get off work at 10 p.m. It could be either at this job.
Oh, and we got another super chat from Rebranded Nitty. Thank you so much. And he says BDE is Big W Energy. Yes. They should probably use that in their marketing. That would be a good one, I think. I don't know. Maybe I'm overthinking. But I appreciate that very much.
A great evolution, and it's much needed millions of years.
This is a cache of Mississippi Caddo Indian artifacts dating back to 1200 AD. Here is an unusual reptile.
Did he say that was iron from 1280 AD?
Oh, I just had a big sneeze. What was that? 1280 AD?
Let me check that back one more time here.
Mm-hmm.
I think you said Native American artifact too.
I know he said Mississippian Native American.
Of Mississippi Caddo Indian artifact.
Yeah, iron pot.
Wait a second. Mid-Pennsylvanian.
Sulphur City, Oklahoma. So you're telling me that the pre-Columbian First Nations people did have iron?
I would speculate that if this was found in a coal mine in Oklahoma and a mid-Pennsylvania coal mine, that's what you're talking, like that's the Carboniferous, right? That's the on this side of the pond, we call that we got it divided, the Carboniferous divided into what was it, Mississippian and Pennsylvanian. So I would speculate that this was somehow left by miners.
I'm kind of leaning that way myself.
discovered.
Because look at the edge on this thing. This looks like it was machined by something in like
a
the
modern
the
blacks or not. Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I cut you
Yeah,
off.
it's like 19th century looking work.
And it, also, just this is going by Wikipedia, so take it with a grain of salt. But apparently, the only ironwork known from North America is from the 1600s, and it's from the Pacific Northwest. So
Okay.
this doesn't sound any kind of right.
Okay, so they found a thing left by an old miner, and Carl here just assumed he just made up a fucking date or something.
Oh wow, sorry. I completely missed the fact it's from mid-Pennsylvanian coal mines. Yeah, no. No.
Yeah, so you're talking, Pennsylvania. And that's what I was just explaining. Is that's like the Carboniferous period? There's, but this looks like cast iron to me. This looks cast. That's my opinion on it. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they weren't even whatever iron working they were doing in the Pacific Northwest. It wasn't casting like hot iron like this. They would have done like cold casting, hammering. As far as I know, Doc's got the thing pulled up. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Ooh, actually, so this is interesting. The ironwork from the Pacific Northwest appears to have been made from basically driftwood, as in like drift from Asian shipwrecks that contained iron in them, like iron.
So they pull the iron out of the
like
flotsam.
studs and stuff, and like they were fashioned into like like knives and chisels. That's cool.
Yeah, that's cultural contamination, but resourcefulness. That's pretty nifty.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm not even mad that Carl made that up now, because that led us to that interesting information.
Yeah.
Actually,
I mean, I know
dating
we have
back
at least
to
one archaeologist in chat, so feel free to call everything I said completely wrong, but interesting.
Yeah, very fascinating. I think Pat may have slipped away on us, because I'm sure when he said 1280 AD or whatever, Pat would have immediately been, no, you know? Or one would assume, anyway.
1200 AD. Here is an unusual reptile with a tail that curves around, has a flange, a neck. It's a baby dinosaur.
It is.
It looks like a maple leaf.
Is that a turtle? I don't see a tail, but the feet look like turtle feet.
Well, let's give it another second here.
Yes.
Where did he
And
say
if you
this
look
was
real
from?
closely, one of the hips is
the
staunch,
tail.
slightly different, to permit the tail to curve around like that.
So they had
life.
details of
Yes.
this in 1200 AD, a creature that looked like.
They're still going with 1200 AD, but he didn't say where that one's from.
Okay. Yeah, Sorry, weird lizard. It's a weird lizard. That's almost certainly what it is, if it's real.
I thought it was a turtle until I saw that long tail. And then I'm like, nah, it's not a turtle.
I mean, some turtles do have tails.
Well, yeah, I mean, dragon.
Like
yeah, there you go, John.
Yeah, true.
Snapping turtles have long tails.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to bring them up. Yeah.
I don't know.
Myolania had a long clubbed tail.
I feel like the shell would be more obvious if it were a turtle of
Yeah.
some kind, but possibly there's not an iguana, but there's something that's iguana-like with a big old tail, but it's also got a longer neck. But I don't know the species.
Well, there's monitor lizards that certainly have long necks, and if this is from Southeast Asia, then that'd be part of their biome. Would be
yeah. And I just looked it up. Yeah, there's lots of lizards from like at least the Southwest U.S. that have longer necks too.
Mhm. Oh, is this supposed to be another American artifact? I thought he said China.
I mean, did he say China?
He didn't say where for this one, but he's still sticking with the 1200s, so it's probably from Oklahoma, the same as the cast iron thing. But
Okay.
I'm just guessing.
To permit the tail to curve around like that.
So they had
life.
details of
Yes.
this in 1200 AD. A creature that looked like that. That's the only explanation.
They had to see a living dinosaur.
It's the only
Now,
explanation
this
you've
is-
said. That doesn't make the only explanation that exists. And it's far from the most likely explanation.
As we often say, that's the big problem with deduction. Is you can only address what you can think of. If you're missing something, then you're never going to get the right answer. Yeah, it's been at least a couple of weeks, maybe even a month, Rubik's. Oh, and we might lose a Carrie Ann. A lot of people have been having internet trouble the last couple of days. It's been all over the place. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe our whole technological grid is disintegrating. So we should enjoy while we can.
In this pause screen right here, why are we peeking at them, looking at this artifacts through like we're hiding in the bushes? What are we doing looking through this little crack? And
The camera person wanted to be artistic. They noticed there's a gap between the support stud and that big ass behemoth bone. So
Ugh.
he's like, let's play peekaboo. Oh no, John.
Oh Jesus! No, don't do that to the Apatosaurus. It's done nothing wrong.
Is ankylosaurus skin. This is the actual skin of an ankylosaur. Ankylosaur is the
That is an
dinosaur that's
impression
maybe
of this.
16 feet long
Thank
at
you.
best, but it had a knob on his tail.
Not the actual skin. I mean, well, obviously not the actual skin. Rubik's got adopted by Duran Duran. That sounds like a hell of a story.
Oh,
neat.
Bronze Age glory hole. Oh boy. Beamsy's been a bad influence on all y'all.
hmm
I gotta say, this Ankylosaurus's head looks too big, but
yeah.
T-Rock's
Okay,
neck. Oh,
I-
the
goodness.
ankylosaur skin from South America. Do we even have ankylosaurs from South America?
I don't know.
We have Stegosaurus, but that's more Mesoamerica, I'm pretty sure. Oh no, never mind. We do have South American ankylosaurs. I just hadn't heard of many of them, but at the same time, like that just looks like generic Archosaur skin impression. Like that's. I'm not sure how to assign it to any specific group.
It's all right, John. We're all like this. Some of us worse than others.
Still waiting on that damn it Beamsy thing.
Oh, the emoji.
Yeah.
I need another emoji slot.
Yeah.
Let me
You heard him,
think.
or you heard him, people. Go ahead and what is it? Member up to Ember,
Yes. Yes,
whatever it's called.
become an Ember member.
Remember?
Yes. You heard Doc the Magic Dino. Do it.
Did you say show your member to Ember?
Oh, no. Don't unsolicited send. No, that's not.
I hear
It's
that's
not-
a
it's not-
patron. I heard that's a patron privilege.
Oh, you're not doing that for channel members?
That's a whole separate thing. I actually did try to open an OnlyFans at one point, but no one was interested in my feet. They're gigantic feet. I don't know why, but you know. Yeah, I need
This
like.
conversation's going to get you that Ridge Wallet endorsement that everybody gets.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, for sure.
You know, like,
Yeah, I need like 23 more members to open the next slot or something.
Well, how many people are watching right now? Hey, we've got 31 viewers, folks.
Are we up to? Ooh, cool.
According to my YouTube.
All our random things have brought in the crowds or something.
welcome to the Ember stream.
You thought we were
sorry,
here for creation science, didn't you?
This just reminds me of that one stream I had where we started reading Chuck Tingle titles and we didn't lose any viewers. They're all degenerates, I swear.
Yeah, that was an interesting stream. Yes.
Classy. Was I there for that? I think I was there for that.
Yeah, you were.
Big
Oh,
booty
boy.
chompers.
Okay, let's continue with our dinosaur-ish impression friend something. I don't know.
Yeah, let's go.
Again, just generic scales. Weird.
Field. But I want you to notice the rosette patterns on the skull. Rosette patterns are flower-like patterns. Here's the center of a flower. Each petal on the side becomes the center of another flower. And then we come to what?
Wait,
You're
you're saying you have the forehead impression?
That's a scoots, isn't it? That looks like scoots. So is he talking about just the arrangements of scoots are like a flower? I mean,
He's saying they're in a rosette, which, I mean, kind of. But
so rosettes are like a jaguar spots, right? They'll be like a little cluster of shapes together.
But like,
Would you consider that a rosette?
For all ankylosaurs, plus just the odds of you getting a forehead impression. Like what?
I mean, I'm questioning whether it actually is that, considering literally everything else he's claimed so far has been, if not wrong, a deliberate fabrication, or just so misconstrued. It just, my goodness.
I mean, I can buy that it is hypothetically a dinosaur skin impression. But I, one, doubt it's from South America, and two, hyper doubt that it's any type of ankylosaur. Like, if anything, that looks more like a ceratopsian skin impression, because they have really weird scales. But
is he saying this is like the forehead?
yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying it's from the forehead.
Okay. From Bolivia? It doesn't say what species it is. Just it's an ankylosaur. how did they come to that conclusion? This thing, because it doesn't.
Well, because it has a rosette, and apparently Ankylosaurus has a rosette of scoots on its face.
Mm. I don't doubt that they're scoots, right?
Yeah,
They
no,
look
they
kinda
had
like-
scoots.
This fossil, I don't doubt that that's if someone said, "Hey, these are fossilized scoots," I'd be like, "Okay," but I don't know how they're drawn as Ankylosaur. I don't know if you could tell me.
I mean, what it looks like to me is it's an infill of an impression. It's like an impression was left behind, and then this is the fill-in of that impression. And it's an okay quality one, but I think I'd be okay saying it might be a dinosaur or at least an archosaur, because the big thing with archosaurs is their scales don't overlap. That's the difference between them and most other reptiles.
Hmm.
So I checked on I'm checking out some other Ankylosaur skin impressions here. Some of them do look similar to this, and other ones don't. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on this one. Sure, Carl. Ankylosaur.
I mean, I can't disprove him, but I highly doubt it.
It is pretty sus. While we're on this freeze frame, Tsumami wonders what's up with this little blurpy thing in the upper left here. Any guesses on what that might be?
Is that like a little carving with it looks like a carving of a lizard with its like a sail, like a Spinosaur, like a Dimetrodon.
So wait, I'm sorry. I'm seeing something up in the top right. Homo Bauanthropus?
What is that?
That is a good question. Is he pulling a mud fossil? Is he saying that it looks like a finger, so it must be a finger? Bauanthropus. That needs some Googling right there.
So he's sick. Apparently it's an ichnogenus, so like sorry, science word. It's a footprint, basically.
Oh. Okay. Homo bauanthropus is a species name coined by Carl Baugh and not recognized by anyone else.
Because of course it is.
Uh-huh.
Of course it is.
Sorry, from the Wikipedia, biologist P.Z. Myers described it as a blatant fake.
Ah!
I love PZ. I haven't talked to PZ in forever. PZ, if you're watching this, I miss you, buddy. He used to show up in my streams all the time. It was so cool.
Yeah, for anyone curious, that thing is supposedly a footprint.
The
Oh, so it's not the little
Bauanthropus.
finger-looking thing above it. It's gonna be the rock that's just in the corner and out of focus in the lower
Are
right.
you sure? Because the ankylosaur is just above its nameplate.
Yeah, I thought this was like
I
a
don't
finger
know.
bone. Like a finger bone.
Yeah, that's what
or
I thought
something.
too.
There's no other nameplate around it.
Okay, well, let's see.
Side becomes the center of another flower. And then we come to what is the favorite of most of our people. This is the Alvis Delk print. This
Boy.
Oh, I know you.
My
I
old
know
friend.
this image. This is the fakest of fakes that has ever faked.
Because, when you're defending the true and inerrant word of God, it's totally cool to use all kinds of fake bullshit.
Yeah. This is not a dinosaur footprint. And that is not a human footprint going over it. Like It's not a
Where-
theropod foot.
Where is the human part even supposed to be?
So the video is terrible quality, but it overlaps with the middle and lower toe of the dinosaur track. You have to kind of squint, but you can see the toes above it. Then just the kind of
There's-
foot shape outline.
I think there's a pretty good filled in image of it on one of the. Here we go. I found a better image of it. It's got a better angle. Give me just a second, and I'll share it with you guys.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, I
Come
thought I
on.
was seeing a boot print like just above the middle toe, kinda, but or something that looks vaguely boot print-ish.
There you go. Pull that up. This is a better understanding of why this is a ridiculous claim. That's like Fred
What?
Flintstone's foot.
No human
Yeah.
foot looks even close to what? It's like
Yeah.
a fifth grader's hand-drawn version of a footprint.
I've seen like more convincing Sasquatch prints than this, right?
For real.
Yeah,
It kind of
Wow.
looks like a Sasquatch print, to be frank. Maybe Sasquatch is
I'm
out there fighting dinosaurs.
I'm over here screaming about the dinosaur, and y'all are just like, no, that isn't human.
Well, my brain's more trained to look for human footprints, and then I don't really go around looking for dinosaur footprints, but I do like tracking animals.
I mean,
and
maybe you
stuff.
should.
I guess I do. But they're bird prints, so they're very skinny.
But yeah,
This
like this
looks
dino print
chiseled.
is totally fake too. There's
Is
like
that
there's no
chiseled?
heel. Like what the fuck?
Oh, that's got to be chiseled, right?
Oh, it's
Ah.
definitely a fake.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can find a good picture of like an actual footprint from the site.
Yeah.
Fake creation
That's from-
stuff. Love it.
Yeah. Here's what a track from the trackway that's supposedly from actually looks like.
Is it from Biloxi too, or is it?
It's supposed to be from Biloxi.
Okay.
Like that's what an actual dinosaur footprint looks like.
Okay, that tracks a little. It tracks. It tracks a little better.
Yeah. It's like
So with that
Th-
fake,
those are real. Those are real dinosaur footprints, though. I mean, like it's one step up from the Delk footprints. Oh,
like
So with the fake we just saw, Eric wonders: is it really is it a really big human or a really small dinosaur?
well, supposedly that's from an Acrocanthosaurus, and just no on every front. That thing is massive. Here's a picture that looks somewhat like his fake, but I use somewhat with very liberal quotation marks. Like, and you can see just looking at it, like the toes are very much infilled. Here.
Yeah.
yeah, like it stepped into the mud and pulled its foot backwards before it stepped up, so that the mud fell in top of it. Yeah,
Yeah, that
can
looks a
see
lot
that.
more like something stepped in mud. I can see that one.
Mhm.
Plus
Plus,
the
you can
slope
also
where the heel went in and out, and yeah.
Yep, and I'm seeing it better on my side because I can zoom in on it. But, like you can see where the indents are left by the toes. Like you can't see the individual toe bones, but you can see like the deepest parts of the toes. Like there's actual definition there because this was made by a living animal.
Mm-hmm.
And just no, that it's a horrible fake, even as far as fakes go.
you know what it looks like? It looks like the Clearwater beach giant penguin prints. Are you familiar with that? The guy who spent years going out at night in these giant penguin shoes or whatever, giant penguin footprint shoes, and leaving prints all up and down the beach for people to find the next morning. He did it for years.
Well, you're right. It does look like that.
Yeah, it like it was the same print.
Oh wow! The giant penguin got a scientific quote name, Anthropornis.
Anthropornis.
Okay.
It just means human bird, but that's great.
It works on so many levels, though. Yeah.
So
Anyway, yeah. This is
by comparison, I do see the human fake footprint now, but it's really, really obvious how just blatantly fake the dino footprint is too. That's unforgivable scientifically. And artistically, it's so bad.
Yeah, just the dinosaurs have toes. I don't know if folks know this. Almost all dinosaurs walked on their toes. That foot pad,
Digigrade.
Yeah, that foot pad there, it's only going to be visible if they're stepping into something really soft and squishy, or they're falling into it, or you're looking at a very basal dinosaur. Because those did walk more on the rear of the toes, or base of the metatarsals.
You talk about like a Herrerasaurus or something, or even
I found footprints from something like them.
Yeah,
but the point is, most of the weight is going to be on the toes, and that's going to be most of what shows up. There's not a huge pad like that.
Yes. Sauropods, they get really specialized before they started walking fully. I think that they used to call them prosauropods, but they don't call them that anymore. But they walk on just their toes on the front feet, right? And then
not in derived ones, not even the toes. They are walking on their carpals. They don't have any phalanges left.
Just big pillars on their carpals. That's wild.
Yeah. Sauropod feet are a thing straight out of hell. They're horrific.
And they always depict them in fiction like elephant feet, and nah.
No.
They're much weirder than that. And they had huge fleshy pads on the bottom of them.
Sounds like a very, very interest-specific kind of OnlyFans.
Elephants' feet are kind of starting to get that way. Like they're losing their toes, but
are they?
They haven't quite lost them yet. Yeah, their toes are.
Yeah, it's kind of like how horses, I believe, they walk around on their middle fingers all the time.
Yeah, they're always flipping us off, but it's not their fault.
That's true.
Covered on the McFall property. And in the vicinity, we have discovered 7 other human tracks the same size, 11.5 inches in length. You see the great toe, second, third, fourth little toe, metatarsal arch, medial instep section of the longitudinal arch, the heel, this. But it's intruded by an Acrocanthosaurus dinosaur track, and it is forward motion, push some of the consolidated mud, the compressed mud, push some of it back up into the human track. That's man and dinosaur living contemporaneously.
So he's making the argument that the dinosaur stepped on the human footprint and pushed mud. Ugh. Just why?
No. Also, I posted in the YouTube chat, but for anyone curious, the dinosaur he's talking about wouldn't have made tracks that look like that at all. This is Acrocanthosaurus.
Yeah.
Please note the very sharp toe claws it has.
It has some serious toe beans.
You know what Carl Baugh's monstrosity is missing?
Any kind of legitimacy.
Well-defined toe claws, and it has this massive foot pad that Acrocanthosaurus didn't have.
They were digigrade. Yeah, they wouldn't. This footprint is of something walking plantigrade. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good night, John. Thanks for hanging with us.
Night,
And
John.
Its feet are small. I wonder if that's actually just a weird thing of the mount. I think they're smaller than they should be. But
Well, it's not.
Yeah,
It's not. It's kind of rude to point it out, though. So
but I just noticed. I thought it was just the perspective at first, but no, its feet are weirdly small. Now, that could just be Acrocanthosaurus. Like, thing is weird.
So
yeah.
maybe this isn't either of your guys' specialties, but Sumami wishes to know, what about kitty feet? Why are they like I guess like they are, rather than, because they're not like this. They're like they are.
I mean, they basically are like this. They just have 5 toes.
Well, cats
or
have the
touching the ground.
retractable claws too, because they keep them sheathed as weaponry. So,
Mhm.
With a cat, they do walk digigrade, but I guess they're like the front part of their palm touches the ground too, which is going to be in most digigrade carnivores.
I mean, fun fact, primates are weird.
No.
Primates are one of the only groups of, I think, tetrapods that, definitely one of the only groups of mammals that walk plantigrade. So, like, if anyone's familiar with the anatomy of a human foot, you walk on your metatarsals. That's what, like, the main part of your foot is. Most mammals don't do that.
Bears
Most mammals are on their toes.
That's one of those things that makes bears and humans kind of unique. And in
Are bears? Oh yeah,
growth.
bears are plantigrade too.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And it's thought that, I mean, they're not anymore, but it's thought that the ancestors of pinnipeds were plantigrade as well.
I'm surprised. Well, wait, does that mean that canids are secondarily digitigrade?
I don't know. Because I think my acids, which is like the branching off point of early carnivorans, they were digigrade. They were arboreal. So the plantigrade structure of the bear's foot has got to be, well, raccoons are plantigrade on their hind feet too. So procyonids have plantigrade hind feet and digigrade forefeet. Yeah.
Most peculiar.
Yeah.
But yeah, that tracks a lot. I've noticed with the animals that I've actually inspected, they all tend to be kind of, they're with the rear legs especially, where everybody's like, well, what about the backwards knee, which is actually their wrist, because
Right.
they're like so far up on their toes.
Yeah, it's like even elephants are walking digigrade. They just have a big fleshy pad underneath there. They're still, their toes are what's touching the ground, which, like Doc was saying, that's the weird thing about humans and bears and a few other specific groups. But is walking plantigrade more common in diapsids? I guess I don't know if it is or not.
So
Some
in
lizards.
leptosaurs, yes. In archosaurs, no. Well,
would crocodilians be?
Crocodilians are weird.
No.
I had a similar thing as Sumami, walking on the balls of my feet, because my mother worked nights. I literally had to tiptoe everywhere all the time, because if you woke the mother up, it was a bad day.
Well, just
Hello,
without
Titan.
making things too complicated. Pterosaurs and dinosaurs on toes, crocodilians and most other reptiles on on like humans.
Yeah.
Flat. Plantigrade.
Tortoises
Right.
would be plantigrade.
I was hoping to find more pictures than this, but I did find one. So here, not to scale.
Whoa.
Oh wow, that's okay. Google.
That may be too big for. Yeah, that doesn't come across
Yeah,
as a
just a
link.
second.
Like a DNA strand length code.
There. Hopefully that works.
That looks a little better.
Yes.
There we
Anyway.
go.
Not to scale, but from left to right, we have a human, a cat, and a horse. These are all rear leg bones.
All right. So yeah, humans are just flat on their foot, and the kitties are on they're walking high heel, and the horses are fucking super ballerinas, constantly on point.
Yeah. Like, you can walk like a cat if you want. It's just going to be pretty uncomfortable because you're not evolved to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And your bear would be right there with humans too. Almost, the structural similarities between a bear's hind foot and the human's hind foot is the convergence is remarkable.
I'm telling you, bears. If humans get out of the way, bears are going to be one. Because everybody's like, oh, raccoons, because they already have thumbs. Well, bears can do the thumb thing too, and they can stand upright. I mean, I saw a video of a bear who was in a tree, and the fire department had to trank it and then catch it with a trampoline. And as it was falling, it looked just like a human with an extra big head.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and bears have shown that they will secondarily grow a new thumb if they need it. Pandas, they have
What?
that. Yeah, they have an extra
I will be right
digit
back. My earbud died.
that's made out of the carpal of their wrists that grew out long enough to be a thumb, so they could hold bamboo and like little people. instead of flipping their digit around, they just grew a new one. It can't move or anything, right? I mean, it can move a little bit, as much as you can like rotate a wrist bone, but it doesn't have the mobility of a thumb, right? But it's like a secondarily a thumb. Now koalas, they have their first and second digit transposed around, so they're like what's the word? Is it was hexadactyl? Let me see.
Good night, Stephanie.
Stephanie's going to bed night.
Yep,
Okay,
we're talking a bunch of people in today.
Apparently.
Koalas aren't real. Where's Mark
Did I hear-
Reed? Or where's
Reed, did I hear
Sydney
you
for
say
that
something
matter?
about koalas being having 6 fingers?
No, I was trying to think of the term. It's not hexadactyl is not the right term for it. It's when you have your first finger and your first thumb on the back side, like transposed, like opposed to the rest of your digits. I can't remember the term for it. But I was talking about pandas having the growth on their wrists that make it like they have an extra digit. But no,
Okay.
I'm trying to remember the term
Oh,
for
yeah,
that.
I see it. Looks like an elongated carpal.
Mm-hmm.
Just looking at the skeleton. Interesting. Sorry,
All right.
Google's trying to advertise to me a koala skeleton throw pillow.
A koala skeleton throw pillow.
That's oddly specific. I'm curious about your search history now, Doc.
They just
Florida
heard.
manatee skeleton throw pillow. Oh, this is from one of those sites where like you can upload an image and then just put it on any kind of merch. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Don't look into my search history.
All right. On that note, continuing on.
Leading evolutionary scholars, Richard Dawkins, his late buddy Stephen Jay Gould, etc., all have made statements in the technical literature and the popular literature that if we or anyone could actually demonstrate that man and dinosaur lived contemporaneously, that would totally destroy the modern theory of evolution. Those are their words.
And were they here? Or at least some of them were here.
Richard Dawkins came to this museum
Wow.
along with Stephen Jay Gould when it was a one-room log cabin.
That's not a log cabin.
And we had some of this information.
So you had this information, you have more now. You have found proof that humans and dinosaurs did live together, which then, according to their words, will totally obliterate evolution.
Absolutely. So once they saw the evidence, two of the artifacts I'm going to show you in this display, once they saw it, what was their word? Oh my, I guess I've been wrong. I guess we need to reconsider.
That would be marvelous, but for some reason, I don't think that's what they said.
They said one word, impossible, and walked away. And that's tragic because God loves them.
Yes.
Jesus died for them.
Yes.
So he's all off on an emotional tear right now.
Right?
But as I've pointed out on nearly every creationism debunking stream we've ever done, you can be a Christian and believe in evolution because it's a fucking fact.
The word I was looking for, by the way, Doc, is zygodactyl, not polydactyl.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, how tragic Richard Dawkins called you called it a fake.
Yeah,
That's
Peasy
kinda what he
Myers
does.
had his go at you too, Mr. Baugh. And who else? Aaron Ross tore into you pretty good.
Mhm.
I can imagine. It's, oh my goodness. Like, yeah, the people in chat understand that Dawkins and Gould may have come, but the story's as embellished as everything else we've seen so far today. So yeah, that's
I
that's
could believe they said it
what
was
is that,
impossible. But
sixth commandment? Oh yeah. John says you can be a Christian, but do it way over there. Well, fortunately, you're safe on the opposite side of the planet from these guys.
yeah, come to America. We're suffering.
Oh, Titan's got it. We found this Nike shoe just a few feet from this dinosaur fossil. That's all the proof we need. Wowzers.
Dinosaurs
And the
and
truth
shoes.
is available for them to receive, but of course they will not retain God in their knowledge.
They're willfully rejecting the evidence.
Willfully so. This is
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
anyone who disagrees with my magic book has a reprobate mind.
Well, I mean, we can scientifically analyze his track, right? His footprint that he showed, and come to the conclusion that that's not from a theropod of any kind. But we can say that it's not from a human too. We can analyze his little finger bone or whatever it was from his what was it, Baugh or whatever. We can analyze those things and prove that they're not real. So we're not rejecting it in like unrighteousness because we want to reject God. We're rejecting the evidence because it's not good evidence. It's not credible evidence. It's actually uncredible or incredible evidence.
Quite so. I dare say this passage of Romans might refer to Carl here a little bit more than us heathens, because he's not retaining knowledge. He's putting falsities in his mind in place of knowledge, which in a way, he doesn't want to know those things which are not convenient. Like, his stuff is fake. That's very inconvenient. So he may be a believer, but he's, by this passage's definition, even more reprobate.
Mm.
Oops, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, and Carrie Ann, I had when I was an over-the-road driver, I had one of those little dashboard hula people with the grass skirt and things bobbling away on my dashboard. It was pretty neat. I still have her somewhere, but probably in my storage unit. Because you gotta, you gotta.
I've had the same unfortunate gal on my dashboard since I got my car. It's like 7 or 8 years.
A long time to have a car.
Yeah, it's had to get some work done, but it's surviving. Hopefully.
Yeah, well, I mean, in fairness, I usually get mine towards the end of their lifespan anyway because I can't afford new cars. Oh, they've usually been through a few owners before I get them.
Yeah.
This is actual prima facie evidence. This has been spiral CAT scanned.
So why the spiral CAT scan? What would the purpose be?
What is a spiral CAT scan? What does he mean by that?
I'm not sure.
Is that a thing, or is he making shit up again?
Spiral CAT scan.
Oh.
A helical CT scan. Helical CT is a vast improvement over conventional CT scans. It's talking about the patient. This is for medical use, of course, from George Washington University Hospital.
So it's basically a CT scan, but the scanner continuously rotates around you while you slide through it.
So it gives them a more 3D image, I guess, more concise.
A continuous 3D image rather than forcing the machine to extrapolate from one image to the next.
Okay. Neat. But that was expensive to do on your carved rock here.
Yeah, the next question is, does it work on rocks?
Yes. We CAT scan fossils all the time. It's a good way to identify where you should dig into it, what you should clean, what you shouldn't, or just like if you don't want to do you don't want to cut it in half like they did back in the 1800s. Lets you look at all the stuff inside without breaking anything.
Okay. Now I'm intrigued how this fake foot that he's got going on here, it has a big toe, and then a second toe, and then a third toe, and then a fourth toe, and a fifth toe, and then sticking off to the side, there's a sixth toe.
I see it.
So
it's the panda thumb.
You wouldn't scan something like this. It's just a footprint. Like, there's no need. There's nothing internal to look at. Like, CAT scans are for looking inside things.
Maybe he was hoping to find Jimmy Hoffa or something.
What would you gain from now? Looking under this under an electron microscope might be beneficial if it's authentic, right? You'd see maybe some skin impressions, some
see all the scratch marks from carving it out.
Mm-hmm. I imagine that's probably what we would see. Yes. Let's give them the benefit of the doubt.
The rock is even a different color inside the. Okay, yeah. Let's see what else he has to say.
Why did you have to go through that test?
Now, that's a very good question because tracks can be carved.
Can you tell a carving from an actual footprint just by examination, or does that spiral scan show you what you need to know about?
Spiral CAT scan is almost necessary for the following reason. You can carve all of the surface details of a track, but you cannot fabricate the compression density under that track.
So the mud below the track, if it doesn't have that compression density, it had to have been carved.
It had to be carved.
And this one, what did the scan show you?
Spiral CAT scan showed very definitely that there are two tracks here, compression density under both of those tracks. In fact, we can actually read the forward locomotion. So let's see if this is
can
here.
we?
First, the profile of the track. Notice the great toe, the second toe, which has a slightly deeper dip. Notice at the edges, it compressed the edges so specifically that we know it pointed downward. And that means this individual was of superior intellect, simply from the second toe. So we have the great toe, second.
Okay,
Okay,
first I
those
didn't
ridges are
believe
so
it,
well
but now
defined.
Phrenology with your toes there, guys.
Oh, goodness.
Sorry. At first I didn't believe you. Now I'm questioning if you're sane. What? What?
You know, it was very intelligent.
It's irrefutable creation evidence, guys. I'm telling you.
It's evidence I'm about to have an aneurysm.
Third, fourth, little toe. We have the metatarsal arch, which is unique to man. We have the medial section of the longitudinal arch, that's the instep. And then, I want you to notice closely, we have the lateral section of the longitudinal arch. But, Pastor, you're going to do what very few people are permitted to do. This is kept, behind special plexiglass. I want you to feel that transfer and that bulge right there. Now, put your finger there. Something wiggled. Notice the ridges.
Oh my gosh, pause
Please
for a
feel the
second.
ridges.
You need to put this to sexier music and just have the audio, though. Just him saying these things.
Put your finger here and then wiggle.
Yeah, feel those ridges. This is very important. Don't touch this
That's just proof
directly.
you have a reprobate mind.
It is.
How dare.
I'll have to ask Logic what AI he uses to remove background music so we can change it.
Make it some Barry White or something.
Oh, baby. Oh, wait, actually.
What the hell,
Oh,
man?
baby. I know you've been waiting a long time.
It's like I don't believe any bit of this. Like, why? Why?
Something wiggled his heel or his hallux, and then notice this outline of a webbed footprint, and spiral CAT scan picked compression up under that webbed foot.
So we have two footprints. One is distinctly human, and there's another footprint.
Pterodactyl.
Oh,
What?
That's not a
Pterodactyl.
No.
It's an angry duck. But that does explain that 6 toes sticking out off to the side. We need to put this guy in touch with Roger. This is amazing.
oh my goodness.
This is horrific.
Wow. Okay, so
We actually do. Go ahead.
Oh, Jesus.
We actually do have pterodactyl tracks, and they don't.
We
look
do have
like,
pterosaur tracks, yes, but they don't look like that.
No. This looks like a duck that slipped in the mud,
Yeah.
or maybe no, to me, or not enough toes. I was gonna say, or maybe a crocodilian, but it doesn't have enough toes. But it is, as far as pterodactyl, though, yeah, it does not look like that.
Now, I just want to note that this mud was supposedly just the right consistency, that we got precise ridges between the human toes that both squished enough to make ridges, but was sturdy enough to not blur back down as soon as the foot was removed. but yet the dino print on top of it did not mush anything out of the way in the human footprint. It disturbed nothing. That's pretty magical,
It was a magical time, Ember. What are you trying to say?
I guess.
So oh no, that's another DNA strand. Well, maybe it works.
Maybe. Let's see what happens. Nope.
Token validation. Whatever. It's on DeviantArt. I'll just send you the DeviantArt link. So this is a compilation by Vespisaurus on DeviantArt. I'm not sure all of the footprints 100% match the actual species they indicate, but it's a good approximation.
Oh, hey. Back at 9:18 Eastern Time, Dr. Tapiocaweasel said, may join in a bit, just got home. This is how often I check my Discord, folks.
How do you check your pterodactyl prints?
Very carefully.
I'll post it in the YouTube chat too, in case anyone wants to see it. But just pterosaur tracks don't look like that.
Did we notice that nobody even noticed that other track or alleged track was there until after we already finger banged the human footprint and all that? And
but
okay.
Anyway, yeah.
What do you
as
say?
far as I can tell,
Pterodactyl?
as far as I can tell, all the pterosaur footprints on the right are based on real fossils, and just they don't look like that. They're hellish monstrosities, but they don't look like that.
Yeah, so
actually, the pterodactyl print
monstrosities, but still,
the actual pterodactyl print looks a lot more like the human footprint than the human footprint looks like a human footprint.
Yeah, the pterodactylus number 4 from the top.
Yeah, none of them look even like it's not even close. This is bad.
I didn't know we had dimorphodon trackways. Go back up.
But like I said, I have no idea. I'm not sure these are attached to the actual species. I somewhat doubt it. But yeah, there's no sources or anything, but those are what pterosaur tracks look like.
Okay.
Yeah, like those are what ornithischian tracks look like for the most part. Yeah, not sure I would say they're the actual species, but that's what they look like.
Oh boy. Yeah, pterosaurs have some jacked up feet. Oh, show.
The Mesozoic was just a horror show and a half. Land, sea, you're not safe anywhere.
Oh, and we got another super chat.
Oh.
Left-handed Jedi sends $10. Thank you very, very much. Ed says, man, I needed a good laugh. Thank you. Yay!
Wait,
we did good, folks.
That, Tsumami said something great right below that.
Looks like they got caught in a freaking Victorian-era sweatshop textile. Oh my god.
The pterosaur feet. Yeah, that's accurate.
Yay.
So the pterodactyl stepped, and he was a cousin to the dinosaurs, lived in the late Cretaceous, when this is assigned 110 million years, or mid-Cretaceous. So no surprise the pterodactyl's there.
How is it assigned 110 million years if there's a fake human footprint in it? I mean, assuming it were a real human footprint, like, nobody is going to look at that rock and go, yeah, that's 110 million years old. Come on, get out of here.
Also, Pterodactylus isn't from that age strata.
10 million? No, there were no pterosaurs around 10 million years ago. None of them
he said
survived.
like 110 million.
Oh, 110. Okay.
Yet Pterodactylus is from Jurassic to earliest Cretaceous.
The cameraman's up to shenanigans again. I'm noticing there's this big old plaque that says Discovery Zone. I can't read the rest of it at this resolution, but it looks like that's like a wine press. Discovery Zone usually means something like for kids, and it looks like an old school wine press where you squish the grapes.
Maybe it was one that was built by dinosaurs, though, or Noah. Maybe it's Noah's wine press.
It's for juicing the children.
Delicious.
I mean, hey, kids are easier to influence if they're drunk.
Right?
Don't take that out of context.
Free wine tasting for the kids.
Yeah, Doc, I didn't realize you were Catholic.
Oh, hell no.
Oh, boy.
But the surprise is,
the
man's
channels
there.
are just going to shut us down.
Yeah, this
Well, I mean,
sign
hey,
that he's
this
just
is on
passing
Ember's
says
channel,
parents.
so we're safe.
Oh, that's what you think. Definitely don't look at Doc's search history.
Well, and let's just stop for 1 second. I mean, you have intersecting footprints, which the only way that can happen is if it happened at the same time or
Within
nearly
moments.
the same time.
Yes.
You have, this is for sure a rock that has come from that time frame.
Absolutely.
So this tells you two things. One, if it was just a human track, you have a human track in a layer that shouldn't have any humans.
Correct.
That, again, will say man and flying reptiles, dinosaurs, all have lived together.
At the same, just like Job chapter 40 describes.
Birds are flying reptiles. There, I said it.
How dare you?
Yeah. And they eateth grass as an ox. So oxen are around 110 million years ago too. What is time anyway? You know, it's these fucking time travelers. They're messing up everything, I tell you.
Are you sure this is an eat Gur's ass as an ox?
Okay then.
You know, I haven't seen Gur today. Maybe.
But I did see ox though, so
That's true. Ox was in the chat earlier. May still be hanging around.
I was able to acquire these totems in Peru, but they came from Bolivia, from the mountains. And if you will look closely, these date to about 1200 AD. These are literally.
Once again, we're at 1208. It's like it's his favorite century or something.
Yeah, why?
that's when all the
totems.
dinosaurs were active. The medieval dinosaurs, yeah.
Yeah, just like, again, I don't believe you. Nothing he said so far has been true.
Dinosaurs.
I know we're at the point where if he told me that the sky was blue, I'd have to go check.
He's wearing a leather vest. Why don't you believe him?
Oh, and real quick, Sydney, for the record, pterosaurs are part of the same group as dinosaurs. Even within archosaurs, they're Ava metatarsalians. So they are the closest relatives to dinosaurs outside
And
of
it's because of their feet.
ankles.
Yeah, well, yeah, they're the track though that we just looked at had the fossils, that part that indicates their relation.
Were pterosaurs plantigrade? They might have been plantigrade.
Ooh, I don't know. Most of the trackways look digitigrade to me, but
At least some were plantigrade.
I think the pterodactyl was
Dinosaurs just
plantigrade.
weird? Dinosaurs might just be really weird.
No. But remember,
Yeah, I know, right?
pterodactyls aren't dinosaurs.
Well, yeah, but like crocodilians are plantigrade. Pterosaurs apparently were plantigrade. Dinosaurs are just weird.
Says the dinosaur.
Hey, I say I'm weird.
That
all
were
the time.
you.
What's that?
I say I'm weird all the time.
That's fair. You're in the right place.
Used in pagan worship. Notice we have a dinosaur attacking a warrior.
Of course we do.
And we have the scales on the dinosaur. He's a spinosaurid. Acrocanthosaurus was a spinosaurid, so this was the closest representation.
No, none of that is true. No.
Oh, yep. This is how to break Doc.
Is this a wood is this carving in wood?
Yeah, it's
It
like a
looks
big
like-
old log.
So somebody carved a dinosaur, not even this is like a serpent, is what it looks like to me. This part of it, at least. I don't see any
Was he-
legs.
Does he just think any large carnivorous dinosaur is an Acrocanthosaurus? Like what?
I think he's
what-
trying to tie it into giants of South America, maybe.
You know,
But the
if
Velociraptor
certain other
was from
creationists had
Texas.
this, they'd be arguing this was a dragon.
But then
Ay,
also
ay,
argue
ay.
the dragon was a dinosaur too, though.
Yeah.
Stephen Meyer does anyway.
Frickin' Meyer.
What did he say? Something? Go ahead.
Well, for the record, Acrocanthosaurus is a member of Carcharodontosauridae. They are not Spinosaurids.
Not even, yeah. Spinosaurus.
Not even close. Spinosaurids appear to be descended from megalosaurids, which are a whole other branch of the tree.
Details.
Also, actually, I'm gonna type this, and I want you to try. I mean,
So just to put it into perspective, wouldn't aren't modern Maniraptorans closer related to Carcharodontosaurus than they are than Spinosauruses to either of them?
Yeah, Carcharodontosaurus.
well, yeah, you just heard me say it, but and Bree say it, but it's a tough call because even Carcharodontosaurids, they're derived allosauroids, I believe, which diverged into the early to mid Jurassic, which is also when birds diverged, but is also when megalosaurids diverged. So
Now, what does Carcharodon mean? Because I've heard it in reference to the ancient big-ass sharks, the Carcharodon megalodon.
It means giant teeth.
it means specifically great white shark tooth.
Yeah. It used to be Megalodon was Carcharodon Megalodon, but it's a Totus Megalodon now.
Yeah.
But
Actually, Ember, just guess what the genus and species name for the great white shark is.
I know.
Carcharis familiaris?
Carcharodon carcaricles.
Carcaricles. It's great white shark tooth, great white shark.
We do love our redundancy in names. Like oh shit, I can't remember the scientific name for grizzly bears, but their name it's bear in 3 languages, and I fucking love it.
Yep.
Ursus arctotus or something like that is the subspecies that's bear. It's
The
bear,
ultimate
like,
bear.
bear in Greek, bear in Latin, bearing Latin, or something like that. Yeah.
Actually, fun fact: the reason why the Arctic is called the Arctic is because it has bears. Arctos. And the
Arctos.
reason why the Antarctic is called the Antarctic is because it does not have bears. It is the anti-bear.
Yep, it's the only continent with no bears. It is bare of bears.
Australia has no bears. No bears whatsoever in Australia.
Only because koalas are fake. And drop
Well,
bears.
yeah.
And never mind.
Also, I just double checked the grizzly bear. So the genus and species are Ursus arctos, which is bear,
Mhm.
but the
Horribilis.
mainland grizzly, the most common one, is Ursus arctos horribilis for the subspecies. So its name is the horrible bear.
Oh, okay. I must be thinking of like a brown bear or something. Is like bear.
It's Ursus arctos, which is the European brown bear, which is bear. Yeah.
That
But
tracks.
it's the equivalent of a grizzly bear, but on the other side of the Atlantic in Europe and Asia. Now in Asia, there's more brown bears than just Ursus arctos. There's other species as well, including the Syrian brown bear, which is the one that God uses to kill children.
Also,
Antarctic is unbearable.
not nice, Icarus. And sorry, Sumami. Hope you. Sorry about that.
Aw, I'm sorry to hear that, Tsumami.
Oh,
Hope you feel better. You're one of our favorite humans, you know. I mean, assuming you identify as human, because not all of us here do.
Not
rest
everyone
your
will
pretty
want to.
head, girl. Listen to us bash on this bad dino stuff.
I am a sucker for a pun, Icarus.
Just okay. What's the next thing he's gonna say that's gonna make me want a lobotomy?
That I personally have seen to an Acrocanthosaurus. So we have him. He's a spinosaurid, but notice the rosette patterns on his skin. And this represents the god that they were worshiping, and he is eating a small spinosaurid dinosaur.
So is
Here you have
that supposed to be like a Quetzalcoatl depiction? The feathered serpent.
I don't think so. I think it's a different culture, but just I am hurting.
From Peru, like a serpent god. He said it was from Peru, right? I'm gonna look this up.
Yep, Peru's too far south.
Yeah, they're more.
Well, it is, but they may have heard of the Mayans.
Maybe
They did have a serpent god named Amaru in their mythology, but it had wings and stuff.
Oh, well, I mean, like Quetzalcoatl. That's interesting.
Yeah, it was more of it almost looks like a dragon, but with a serpent tail, like a long serpent tail. Well, some depiction there's a few of them that show it from different depictions that are really cool looking. But they like the cultures in South America, the I don't know Neo-Paleolithic cultures from South America right before Mesoamerica. They were really into serpent imagery and stuff. Some of the earliest artifacts that we have from South America are like have serpent drawings and stuff on them. It's pretty cool.
Interesting. I mean, hey, to be fair, snakes are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of the what do they call them? The big drawings on the ground, the mega pteroglyphs, I think.
Yeah,
Talking about
the ones that you can only see from planes and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, some of those are of big ass serpents too, aren't they?
Yeah, there's a serpent and a hummingbird, and yeah, there's
the Nazca lines.
That's
yeah.
it.
There you go, Nazca. Yeah, but Aramu is Amaru is an Incan dragon. Is how they describe it. So god dragon. But their trilogy of they call the condor, the puma, and the serpent the trilogy gods of Inca culture. So they did have a serpent and a condor and a cougar. So yeah,
It makes sense. Hey, did you know that the Mayans had a prophecy about how the world would end? But it wasn't specific. It said the world would end in one of 4 ways: fire, flood, earthquake, or jaguars.
we're jaguars. Yeah,
Or jaguars.
That one I could believe. Jaguars are scary.
Could you imagine if that's how it did end? If we just looked out the window and there was just jaguars roaming the streets.
Maybe like, oh fuck, the Mayans were right.
Would you judge me if I said yes?
We should have prayed to the lords of Sabalba all this time.
Is it too late to make our sacrifices?
I think we can sacrifice one maybe 5 billion. That should do it, right?
Surely.
A warrior, a Peruvian warrior, with his spear attacking the dinosaur. Notice the dinosaur head, the neck is listless. Notice the tail is drooping. In order to so accurately represent that confrontation, they had to be among living dinosaurs.
And this wasn't that long ago.
No, just 900 years.
Give them some credit. I think they can draw a dead thing. Like, wow.
That's not even.
I don't. Maybe it's the angle that we're at, but I'm not convinced that this even represents anything with limbs. It doesn't look like it has limbs to me. It looks like a serpent.
Yeah, I'm like, with the body cut out, what the fuck, man? Oh my.
Stylized serpent. We need to call this number and get some answers. Call 800-78-GRACE, and we're going to find out. Wonder what time they open.
It's a 24/7 for prayers in an emergency.
Is there a way for me to send a missive through a phone line?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
What's Carl Baugh going to be like when we all show up at his museum? Be like, well, we're here to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah. Show us your
Show up with
rocks.
a matchbox.
For
Carl
Baugh
legal reasons, that's a joke, but
he alleges to have like petrified human remains and stuff, I believe, in his museum too. At least he did at one time. The like petrified foot in the cowboy boot or whatever.
Oh yeah, very well could be a giant eel of some kind. Definitely.
I mean, more likely than his explanation.
For sure. I mean, you remember, there have been points in history where artists were not so good. Like, they got a general shape, but details not really. No.
And also, oarfish, right? They're huge.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They wash up on the South American coast because of the Pacific Current. And they look...
Also, I'm sorry, it just hit me. He's saying Acrocanthosaurus is in Peru.
Mm-hmm.
Like that is an exclusively Middle American species.
Whoops.
Or genus. Like what? That completely flew over my head. It couldn't have gotten to Peru.
Maybe it went on the ark.
Yeah.
Checkmate, atheist.
Well, were the Andes even around back then?
Like baby Andes.
Depends if you subscribe to hydroplate theory.
Maybe that's what I did. I rode the hydroplate from Central America to Peru. Like surfing the hydroplate.
Okay, actual question.
I'm about to go. Oh, yep.
How long does petrification of bones take? Now, sometimes I know sometimes it's very, very fast, but like average.
It's absurdly variable.
There's places where you can calcify something very quickly within hours or to days. There's Mother Shipton's pool or whatever where they drop like teddy bears and stuff in there, and there's like statues now of all this different stuff. That's the situation with that cowboy boot too. It was put somewhere where there's heavily calcified water that was reacting with it to make it all petrified
Mostly
that
just
way.
covering it, but like for full permineralization, which is where it's like atomically replaced, at least a few hundred years in the best case scenario. More realistic is going to be a few thousand.
Sydney wants you to explain permineralization.
Mineral replace original material.
Yeah.
Like just
Which is not what happens in these petrifying springs and things. That's not what happens. It's covering it with a coating of calcium. It's the same stuff that makes stalactites in a cave. It's not actually replacing anything with minerals. It's coating the existing material with a calcium layer. Completely different phenomena.
Bone to stone. Oh
just
yeah.
like
Yeah, they call it permineralization for the same reason that we call hydrogen peroxide, because it's a 1-to-1. One organic thing. It's not exactly 1-to-1, but like every bit of organicness is replaced with mineralness per mineral kind of thing. Yeah.
well, I don't think that's the exact
Oh,
etymology,
okay.
but it works. It works for
As opposed to petrification. Gotcha. Did Medusa use calcified water on her victim? It was hard water, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Very, very hard water.
She had to go stand in her shower, and it just had really poor water quality, and you calcified in there.
Oh, so basically the origin appears to be like thoroughly mineralized, like that version of the word per, like perforate
Perforate.
per mineralization.
And then there's this madness. I believe this is a salty effect kind of thing, but it's so intense that the critters are frozen in place.
I've
It's
seen
trippy
like
as hell.
a chameleon like this still hanging onto a branch with this effect. Yeah, that crazy. That looks like it was like, what is that, like a tawny frog mouth? Like it's got a big old head. Tawny
not
frog
sure.
mouths, by the way, are freaking amazing birds. If you don't know what a tawny frog mouth is, it's like one of my favorite dinosaurs.
Yeah, I think it was Beamsy sent me a bunch of these one day. I forget which lake
Yeah.
they're from, but it's like it's
Lake
just so
Natrone?
salty.
Yeah, Lake Natrone, which salt lake basically.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy.
In order to so accurately represent that confrontation, they had to be among living dinosaurs.
And this wasn't that long ago.
No, just 900 years.
So we have evidence after evidence after evidence of man being in places way before he should have been if evolution's true.
If evolution's true.
Which means
What's that?
Oh, that was an Acrocanthosaurus skull, so he knows what it looks like.
Right, straight out of Peru, Doc. This is Acrocanthosaurus right from Peru.
This skull?
Yeah, that's an Acrocanthosaurus.
A Peruvian one?
way before he should have been if evolution's true.
If evolution's true.
Which means that evolution isn't true, which means that we have to come up with another explanation
Or
of how we got here.
Or accept an explanation that's already been around.
Or we accept a book that has proven itself time after time in inaccuracy, in
In inaccuracy.
Yeah.
Wowzers. So even if our timelines were wrong, that doesn't mean evolution's not true. It just means our timelines are wrong. But based on this evidence, no. That's not enough to work with. And ultimately, as we've mentioned many times before, even if you completely eliminate evolution, like not just the fossil record, but DNA evidence and everything else, Lamarckian traits and all of it gone, that still doesn't prove creationism. You've just reduced science to the same level creationism is on, but you still don't have a reason to believe that argument. For fuck's sake.
Mm-hmm.
Ay. I think they're about to go into preaching mode, so we may be just about done, even though it shows there's a little bit of video left, but we'll see.
prophecy
I hate this
in
guy.
archaeology. It's called the Bible.
And has proved itself in our own lives.
Exactly. And that's the best evidence is we have a Savior. The Creator is the one who died for us.
Oh.
And by receiving Him, trusting in Him and what He did for us, we have eternal life and we've experienced God.
Yes.
And
They have eternal life. They know this because they haven't died yet, so clearly they have eternal life. Case closed, I guess.
our life.
And continue to experience. He's present. We sense his presence
Amen.
right now.
Yes.
Well, I guess God is in the room with him right now.
Hope you've enjoyed our program today from Glen Rose, Texas.
Yep, that's the wrap up for that. Okay, so
Okay.
that's part 1 of 4.
You know, I came in here not believing that dinosaurs lived with man in 6,000 years ago. But now that I've explored this topic and viewed the museum that Carl Baugh has here for us and all his evidence and fossils, I have to say, still not convinced. How about you guys?
Absolutely horrific. I hated every minute of that.
But we
Ember,
did
you have
find,
tortured me.
you know you love it. We did learn some interesting, completely unrelated stuff, though. Which is
I would
honestly what
say
we do
in
these things
spite
for.
of.
Yes. So this was a tremendous amount of fun. Needless to say, we will be checking out part 2, but not today because this part 1 has been a 3-hour stream. Holy crap. But it has been a great time. Reminder, tomorrow, assuming everything goes according to plan, Dr. Tapiocaweasel and Grayson will be debating a couple of flat earthers, and then maybe there'll be an after party. We don't know what the hell's happening, but that's the tentative plan for tomorrow. So part 2, I'm not sure when we'll get to it, but we'll try to get to it before the Jaguars end the world. As always, thank you all for joining us. It's great hanging out with you guys. The puns today have been wonderful, and all the interaction. I fucking love it.
Brilliant.
And thanks to Bree and Doc Deino and Jackson Rowe and Beamsy and Dr. T for coming on at various points. It's always more fun with friends. It's been a lovely evening, and I appreciate you all. Oh yeah. Also, like, share, subscribe to Doc Deino, subscribe to Bree. You're already subscribed to Bree. We know this, but in case you're not, subscribe to Bree.
You can do that if you want to.
Yeah.
I'm funny sometimes.
Yeah, they both have lots of really interesting science stuff. If by chance you haven't checked out their channels yet, it's always Always a good time. Yeah, so yes, Maya, we actually do make plans ahead of time sometimes. I know it's rare, but it does happen. Okay, so that's going to do it for today. Once again, thank you all. And remember that you don't have to make fake footprints and create your own fake species of Homo sapiens in order to pretend the Earth is not the age that it actually demonstrably is, because you are better than religion. Good night.